Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Well, welcome home, family. It's your mom and dad. And we are not here to recap the Golden Bachelor. We are here to recap the Golden God.
The Golden
because
God.
Jerry Gary Turner was out here being a golden god. I'm going to tell you this right now, okay?
Smooth like butter, like boom. You know that song?
He really was. He was absolutely smooth like butter.
Very smooth.
I am going to say this right now. Jerry Gary Turner, GGT, the Golden Bachelor, will be the best bachelor this franchise has ever had.
Damn.
I'm making that, and I believe that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly.
Wow. You know what? He blew me away with, let me just say this.
What are you about to say about my GGT?
Well, okay, chill.
What are you about to say about my GGT?
What do you say about his GGT? I thought he's tall, handsome, amazing life, beautiful family, the whole deal. I was a little nervous about him being a little awkward.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because he's kind of like, hello, everyone. It's nice to see you.
Yes,
I was a little bit like, is he going to have the swag
tight
enough to like pull off?
He's also
dating?
he's never been on the show before, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like, I was a little nervous about the swagger level. Like, is he going to be able to like date 30 women? He will be, because he is very smooth, and I was blown away by his comfort level and his ability to move into the role. So I was nervous. I was a little scared. And that's no longer the case.
He was so smooth.
He was very smooth.
He had lines for days.
Lines for days. He was able to sit in the pocket.
Yeah.
He was able to sit there and listen and then engage. He wasn't trying too hard.
No.
He wasn't shaking. That was a weird thing too. Most bachelors, they're kind of in there and they're telling JP like, oh, I'm very nervous and I'm a little on edge. And
they
like,
do.
it's okay,
they will shake a little bit.
He was just sitting there like, it's fantastic to meet you this evening.
I felt like he almost made JP shake a little bit. He almost was like, JP, I'm leading the charge.
He was incredibly confident.
He's like, JP, I'm hosting this show now.
He's like, I'm daddy. He's like, good to see you, son. And he made him sit down and give him a lesson. Because JP's like he's got the Silver Fox vibe.
Yeah,
now.
his hair's looking.
Dad.
I like the Silver Fox on JP big time.
But GGT looks at him and goes, "Daddy's home."
100% daddy is home.
You can't daddy.
No, you can't.
You know what I mean? So JP was like, I'm going to take more time off from my 3 minutes a year that I work.
God bless, love you, JP.
Love JP, but he does have the sickest job on the planet. But no, blown away. I don't think I've ever seen anyone more comfortable with holding eye contact than that man.
Oh, he can maintain some serious eye contact.
I find myself, I'm pretty good at eye contact, but then like he made me feel very insecure about my inability to maintain eye contact. 'Cause he'll just stare you right down.
Oh, Jerry Gary Turner is the perfect combination of simultaneously being kind and sensitive and strong and thoughtful, and he's got that like swag to him, and he's charming. He is everything to me. Like, yes. Within that first 30 seconds of the first episode of The Golden Bachelor, where it starts without music, and we see him putting on his suit. We see the representation with him putting in his hearing aids, and then he is then kissing the photo of his late wife, and then the Cat Stevens song comes on. I started bawling because it was so, you just felt it in your bones. It was so magic.
You know what's something that's interesting? You brought up the Cat Stevens thing.
Yeah.
That was the first time in a long time I thought, wow. And I didn't even kind of register it was Cat Stevens at first, but I thought to myself, wow, this song is hitting so much harder.
Yeah.
And it was because it's a real song by a real person. Instead of like, show me, you got to give it a count.
You mean the Love is Blind?
You got to live your life. And it's like, that's Love Island, Bachelor in Paradise. Now Bachelor, so it's just like, 'cause in the stars tonight, We're gonna have a good old time.
The Love is Blind music is wild.
But it's like, you're so used to hearing this just kind of like, no offense, just like garbage that's made by, like, listen, I've done those type of tracks before for TV shows. Like, we literally get in a room and we go, what kind of crap would they like? And then you just like churn it out in an hour. And you're like, they're going to like stuff about like the night and like stars and like one chance. And you just, you literally have keywords. And that music is so uninspiring and so, it does not do anything to the soul. So when there's an actual real song, I'm sitting there like trying to hold back tears because I'm like, oh, music can move you. They spent all their budget on that one song probably.
Well, they not only that, they had numerous like proper songs throughout the episode. They also just had like beautiful strings playing throughout it. The soundtrack behind this episode was phenomenal.
It was really good.
Everything about it. If you have not, I'm telling you, I know a lot of people who tune in to sometimes Bachelor podcasts and recap stuff have stopped watching. I'm telling you right now, if you have not watched The Golden Bachelor episode 1, run, do not walk. Okay, watch it immediately. It felt so good.
That was the big difference to me.
It was the warmth of this show. I'm so excited to just keep watching. The women were so supportive of one another. He was so lovely. It was so loving. It was love. Like you felt the love pulsating off the screen.
And I feel like we've become, and this is an address to just all of us as a family. We've become so accustomed to like toxicity being the entertainment. Yeah. Which I do love. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like,
well, we're going to be discussing Bachelor in Paradise later in this episode.
So obviously we haven't even addressed our looks today, but this is their Golden Bachelor look.
Yeah. If you're not watching on YouTube.
If you're watching on YouTube, you're getting the vibe. If you're not, if you want to like check out the thumbnail or something, we got epic looks right now. But the thing I will say is that I've grown accustomed, I feel like we all have, to like, if there's not drama, then the show's not entertaining. Yes. And usually an episode will come out and you're like, oh, everyone will say nothing happened. It's because no one did any like bullshit that was mean or something. Right. And although I agree that we need some of that drama in shows because it does create like controversy and it is fun. I don't think I've ever seen a show do such a good job at making it like enjoyable to watch, but also have it not be just full of toxic drama, at least for the first episode. Yeah. To where I found myself just smiling and I walked away from it going, I enjoyed that very much. And I didn't feel like kind of icky about it, which we generally kind of feel like when we watch any reality TV is like there's a little bit of ick attached. 100%, and you're like, 100%. That's why we like it. But
no,
anyway.
I genuinely, I laughed. I smiled from ear to ear. I cried. I felt like it took me through the gamut of all the emotions.
And that's why I love the fact that this is happening at the exact same time as Bachelor in Paradise. Because I feel like we get both sides of the spectrum. We get the young crying, why are you? And then we get the other like fun, wholesome vibe. And I feel like it's a great and the fact that we're going to be reviewing them on the same episodes is very fun. I feel like it's a marriage.
It's very exciting. It is a marriage. I was seeing some people online being like, I can't, after watching The Golden Bachelor and the purity and joy of that, like I cannot then hop into Bachelor in Paradise. It's too wild. And I personally, I liked, like you said, the juxtaposition.
You just need balance in your life. You can do both. I promise we can do both. It's going to be very fun. So just embrace the fact that you need a little toxicity and you need some wholesomeness. It's all about balance.
Yeah, I don't know about toxicity.
You have to have
a little bit of drama, a little bit of wholesomeness.
Side note.
Yeah, but speaking of toxic, I would like to discuss, as you were saying, we are dressed for the occasion. Before we dive in, we are dressed for the Golden Bachelor. I am rocking a wig, but Evan, the outfit that I have gathered for you is
it's really just a dream.
It's truly my worst nightmare.
It's two things. Number one is she found an actual golden fedora, which is something that we've been talking about for the last year.
We found it. It's going in the gallery. It's going in the archives of your mom and dad of the family. Is the golden fedora was actually found. I couldn't believe it when I found it.
It's a true golden fedora. Yep. I look like what I look like, and I feel like I nailed this perfectly. This name or this concept. I look like the guy who is your worst nightmare during your bachelorette party. So like you're in Vegas with all your friends at the pool. This guy walks up to your big group of women and goes like, ladies, I had no idea that like Playboy Mansion had, or you know what I mean? Like it's some gross one liner that's like, I had no idea the model convention just got out. What's up? Do you guys like money?
God.
You know, I just look like the worst guy ever. And then after you like make fun of me and diss me and humiliate me, I stick around because I kind of love it. So I stick there and I go like, haha, like you guys are crazy.
I love how hard to get you play.
And then I kind of sit there and I have my drink and I'm just kind of sitting there like in the corner of your party. And then you kick me out. And then I say something like, well, you guys are assholes, or like something about the fact that I forced myself on you.
No, that is 1,000%.
And then I call you assholes for like not wanting to hang out with me. This is
100% the look. I mean, the golden fedora, those glasses, the bow tie with the beads. And I actually, with this cheap golden wig, I look like I'm, you know, at a bachelorette party where we all were told to wear like different colorful wigs.
Yeah, but you just look cute.
Thank you.
I look like hell on wheels.
Yeah, you really do.
I look like hell. I look like hell in a like person. I just look like everyone's worst nightmare. It doesn't matter who you are. I show up near you. By the way, I don't have any friends. So like this guy, you wonder, you're like, I'm in Vegas with my 7 friends. Who is this guy that he's at this pool party alone in this outfit, bugging the shit out of everyone? Like I am that guy. And you just wonder like, who is he? Just do this? And does this ever work? But it's a part of the golden fedora philosophy, which is makeouts. God. Never sex, just makeouts. Stack them.
As many as possible.
As many as possible.
It truly is. Lee could not be with us today, sadly, and I am like actually devastated because I wish Lee was viewing you right now.
I'm Lee's worst nightmare. Lee is the type of guy that like, I literally am his worst nightmare.
Yeah, because Lee's just so cool.
He's so chill, and I'm just the guy who just rushes in and goes like, just starts being critical of everything we're doing and telling me that one time that my thing was better than yours, and like you tell me some cool experience you went on, and I tell you how I did it 7 times, way better than you will ever do. You know, or like try to give you financial advice when you didn't ask for it.
I definitely feel like there is one person I could see Zach Shallcross bumping into you in Vegas and being like, I really like your look.
Yeah. Zach, though, I'm good buddies with Zach.
That's your one friend.
Yeah. And I'm actually like annoyed by Zach. I'm always like, Zach's kind of annoying. And Zach's, yeah. You know how you meet certain people and their friends are the worst? Like that's Zach for sure.
That's so sad.
Like Zach's like a nice guy, right? But like you know that like if he's gonna be like, I'm gonna bring a couple buddies over to the Super Bowl party, is that cool? And you're like, fuck.
Katie probably is not like a massive fan of the Friends.
No, he's probably just got a lot of me. A lot of these guys that just come in and start saying wild shit. Anyway, should we get into this?
Yeah, let's get into this absolutely incredible episode.
It was so fun.
So like I said, we're going to dive into the Golden Bachelor right now. And after we then recap episode 1 of the Golden Bachelor, we're going to dive into some of the highlights of the first episode of Bachelor in Paradise. So let's get into Golden Bachelor. Before we actually get into the Golden Bachelor, though, I'm going to need to have you take off your golden bow tie because I can hear it through the mic.
You can hear my bow tie? Okay, it's coming off.
I can hear the bow tie. And it might be giving me the ick.
Oh, really? It's not the rest of the outfit?
It's the sound of the bow tie. Okay, there we go. There we go. Back. Much better. Much better. Okay, so direct from the top. I mean, again, it starts off this episode, Golden Bachelor, 10 out of 10. We're really getting to know Jerry Gary Turner, which, by the way, I know if you're new to joining your mom and dad podcast, I know that it's Gary, but it's Jerry Gary Turner to us now. It's GGT. It is what it is.
It's like when you have a friend, you know, and then you mispronounce their name and it becomes their nickname or something.
100%.
That's their name for the rest of their life.
Yeah, it's GGT. It's Jerry Gary Turner. But we're finding out a little more about his background. And obviously we had seen clips before on after the final rose and everything. But hearing about his late wife and his grandchildren and just like then the reel that they were showing of him doing all the different talk shows and the daytime show spots. It was just, the emotion was just absolutely building. We see him pull up to the Bachelor Mansion. Yes. I have chills. This whole episode was my chills moment. The whole episode was my chills moment.
Yes.
And he looked so slick.
Dude,
I mean,
I'm
what
gonna
a
look
suit.
so bad at that age. It's insane. Like, I already don't look as good as him, and he's 71. Like, I'm just depressed about it. It's fine, whatever. But like,
everyone was just looking so gorgeous. But I mean, just like the styling, his suit styling was just tailored perfectly. I was just right away noting
he
how
just looks good in a suit too.
he looks great in a suit.
Some people are like, it's like, you know, some people say like, I was born in heels.
Yeah, I love being in heels.
Yeah, he was born in a suit for sure. Some people are just meant to be in a suit.
He absolutely was. But should we talk about the limo entrances?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go through the limo entrances. First, we have Edith, who comes out in this gold dress.
She looks incredible.
Unbelievable. Absolutely walks out of
Like
the
a
limo.
70-year-old supermodel kind of vibe. You're like, oh, she definitely was a model. You know what I mean? She has that kind of like, it's like it's kind of, you know, no, not model is the right word. Like Hollywood starlet vibe.
Yes.
She's got kind of like, an actress in the 60s.
Well, she looked like she should be at the Oscars.
Exactly.
Accepting a golden award.
Yes.
And she just, I love the fact, I'm curious if production was like, okay, first entrance, we're going to do a golden dress, or if she got that dress herself, because if she chose that, I'm like, Edith, tens across the board.
And she had like the voluptuous glowing gray hair. And
I have to tell you all of this about Edith because it was like such a precious moment. So Ember, actually, Evan and I watched The Golden Bachelor at separate times, and Ember watched the first like 10 minutes with me. And first of all, Ember, I'm like, bravo with this show. When the 7-year-old, she was crying in the first 5 minutes, and she was like, I love him. He's so wonderful. And she was like caught up. But she watched, like I said, the first 10 minutes with me, and she just saw Edith's entrance.
Yeah.
And when Edith came out of that limo, Ember literally looked at me and she goes, she's an angel.
yeah,
I said, I know. She looks like
she
an
has
angel.
that vibe. Yes.
An absolute, just ethereal, just floating.
Yes.
And she had the golden confetti poppers. And then Jerry was like, we just made history. And that moment will be burned forever in the history books of The Golden Bachelor, the first entrance.
100%. Before we continue, one thing I want to say is shout out to all these women, because they brought back the OG entrance vibe. There was entrances, one-liners, corny moments.
It was amazing.
Their energy was amazing. They would get out and be like, woo! Like, we've like over the years, the energy has just
it feels like it's declined.
So now there's no more entrances. Everyone just walks in and goes, hi, I'm this person, and I'm just really excited to be here. And they go, oh, you're beautiful. And they go, thank you. And then they go inside. That's literally every entrance of the modern Bachelor and Bachelorette these days. These ladies came out with the OG 2007 fire, and they
brought
had vibes.
the energy big time.
Way more energy than their counterparts.
And that's the thing about this show too that I'm already just loving, is that there's conversation about, and they had it in like the clips with Gary Turner at the beginning where he was doing the interview, where it was like, this is the representation for people who are dating in their 70s. And I just loved how they really focused on the fact that it's like, here are these amazing people and they're in their 60s and 70s and they want to have fun.
These people have so much more energy than I do. It's insane. Like, I was literally like, I didn't understand it. I'm so tired.
You're just thinking about how late they're filming and you're like, there's no way.
Dude, watching them, I've never had as much energy as any one of those single women just getting out of the limo in my whole life. I don't know if I'm a low energy king or what, but like, dude, if I'm this age, which is like 24, if I'm this age and have this low energy, like, dude, by the time I'm 70, it's just going to be like this.
But I just,
I
just love that was a big focus, that it's just like, I don't know, like, yeah, we all get older, but just because we get older doesn't mean that we don't want to find love and we want to have fun.
Dude.
And it just, you felt that. And I loved it. I loved it.
Absolutely.
Next we had Ellen, which...
Oof, tear jerker.
So Ellen came out and she right away shouted, Roberta, we made it.
And at first, I was like, what is that? Like,
yeah. And then... GGT, asked her what that meant. And we found out that her best friend for 60 years, her and her best friend, Roberta, are big fans of the show, and they had always watched it and talked about it. And Roberta had cancer. And so they made a joint decision that Ellen would go on the show. And it was just, and then at the very end, they had the memoriam to Roberta because she has passed away. And it was just, to know that these two besties
Oh my gosh.
had been watching the show, and then that Roberta was able to know that her friend got on the show. And not only that, like, Ellen is so fabulous. She had such a fantastic first night.
Yes.
It was truly beautiful.
Oh my gosh. What a just treat to know if you're this, close friend and you're going through hell.
Yeah.
And the fact that you get some chunk of joy through seeing your friend go on your favorite show, that must have just meant so much to both of them.
Yes.
And so that was a massive tear-jerking moment. She was adorable and energy was incredible.
And those two hit it off.
They hit it off. I was about to say they connected, and it was different. It was different.
It was different. It was definitely one of the top women where I was like, okay, there is an intense connection immediately between her and GGT.
Yes. And one thing I will say about Ellen is she just seems like a giver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She seems like someone who's a giver and on many levels. And it was just, I almost just felt like this, it's nice to see her receive this experience, to get on the show, to be adored by this guy. Like, I don't know. She just, she had a giver, and certain people just give off like giver energy.
Yeah.
And she hit me as someone who like
deserves to receive.
Doesn't like, isn't selfish and doesn't get a lot. And so like, she seems like someone who deserved this more than anybody. So it was very special.
And I hope we see a lot more of Ellen on our screens.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Sandra. Oh my God. Sandra.
Dude, she walked out. She was just like, hello. It was like, is there mist? Did someone put out a fog machine all of a sudden? Like her energy was just like, good to see you, GGT.
Sandra.
It is fantastic to be in your presence. Like it was like, like it literally, she brought like, whoa.
Totally. Sandra was everything to me. Like, the fact that this woman came up and told GGT, she's like, I have this Zen practice and let's take some deep breaths together. She got me because I was like, that's where it's going to end.
Yeah.
We're going to take deep breaths together. We're going to have a moment together. And then she's going to, float away into the mansion. And when they started bleeping her out, I was on the floor laughing.
Yeah, I wonder what she said.
I think they released it. I have to go check it out. But she said that in her interview, in her ITM after that, she's like, I love an F word, I love an S word. So I'm imagining that she was throwing out some F bombs. And I'm like, Sandra, I see your meditation and I receive it. Getting thrown out some F bombs sometimes, God, it just feels good.
The only thing was, which was shocking to me, which I thought she was flawless. She came out with low energy in like a vibey way, not like in a bad way, in like a vibey way. She walked right up, and then she had like a shocker moment, right? Where she's super vibe energy. She's talking about like, I just want to like namaste this moment. I just want to like meditate and vibe. And then she says something probably to the effect of like, fuck it all, it doesn't matter, right? Something.
Sure.
He doesn't respond. That was a little like, I was like, that was the only clinch moment where he kind of goes, oh, like he kind of just looks at her and smiles. And I was like, oh, she kind of like, I would have cracked. I would have laughed. I would have thought that was hilarious. He was kind of shocked by it and a little like didn't know how to respond.
Maybe
which
he
I thought
was just thinking about, he's like, oh God, ABC is going to have to spend extra money on bleeping this out. I was told not to swear.
Later she said, like, was that too much for you? And he said, well, I was a little shocked by it.
But then he joined in. Remember?
So it almost seemed like he just wasn't maybe in that mindset. Maybe he was still nervous. Person 3, he was still on edge. Sure. He wasn't really ready. But that was the only moment I was like, oh, like I thought that was funny. And then he didn't crack. Fantastic. And I was a little like, that was awkward. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. You know, you swing and you miss sometimes.
I'm just saying, I have a feeling that GGT was told beforehand, by producers. They're like,
no
keep
swearing.
the swearing to a minimum. Maybe, it costs us money to be editing it out.
So he thought this is going to be cut anyway.
And he's like, oh no. Like, I'm not, this is a rule break. I shouldn't be doing this.
I get that. Okay. All right.
But I loved that. That was incredible. And also then in her ITMs, I was obsessed with the fact that she was talking about like that she wants intimacy, that she loves these F words, these S words. I'm like, Sandra's the type of person I want to hang out with.
Yeah, she's very comfortable with herself. That was the vibe I got.
1,000%.
Super
1,000%. Then we have Leslie. Now, Leslie comes out with a full costume on. And
it was awesome. Though she came out in like the like permed like wig.
PJs on.
Yes.
And
then tossed
GGT was
it.
so sweet too, because he was like, can I help you with anything?
Yeah.
Do you need help? And then she just ripped it off.
And had like a lace dress and was just like, bah, bah.
Looking sexy, sexy. And we find out in her ITMs that Leslie dated Prince, and Prince wrote the song Sexy Dancer about her.
That's crazy.
Which is one of the biggest flexes we've ever seen on the show ever.
I mean, if that's true, which I have no reason to doubt that, that's wild. Dude, Leslie is my, like, when I watch documentaries about like health and getting old, you know, you like Netflix comes out with something and you're watching and you're like, okay, I got to get my shit together. You know what I mean? I got to get my shit together. She is literally like the poster child of like what you hope to be when you're at that age. She's like paddleboarding and fitness instructing
dancing
and like has energy for days and has a smile on all the time. I'm like, she was like inspiration. It was inspo vibes for her. I was like, dang, she is like, hasn't lost a step. Again, more energy than I've ever had in my entire life.
I was obsessed with then the Prince drop. We find out she was married twice for 7 years. And her energy right away, where she said, when I found out it was GGT, all I could think was move over, bitches. I'm like, okay, Leslie's fun.
She's dancing with him. Yeah. Great energy. Loved the vibe.
I think we'll see Leslie for a hot minute.
I agree.
I think we'll see Leslie for a hot
agree.
minute. And then we have a few of the women who pop out where we don't see a large portion of entrance, but we see Marina. She is looking absolutely stunning in her sari. We see Christina, Joan, Natasha is spinning, who I can't wait to talk about Natasha later.
Oh, the laugher?
Oh my God.
The laugher, yes.
And remember I told you that she is like super amazing on social media and TikTok and gives like all these inspirational moments on TikTok.
And she takes the energy to a whole nother. I thought everyone had energy. She wipes the floor energy-wise.
Wise. And then we saw Peggy, Pamela kisses him on the cheek, Kathy, Nancy. She says that she's also wearing ear candy. That was a really cool moment. Teresa.
Yes.
Teresa comes out, which, by the way, I don't know if you recalled Teresa when you saw her.
Yes.
When we did the cast bios, Teresa was our last.
Oh, she was
at the very end of the list.
I don't remember what I said about her. What did I say?
Well, you were drunk at that point.
Okay. Sorry. My bad.
Evan had been drinking and he was drunk at that point. And Teresa was the one that you're like, I think that she's going to start some drama in this house. And then after you looked at her for a while, you're like, sorry, Teresa, that's so not true. That came out of nowhere. And you gave the formal apology to Teresa.
It was a formal apology for just no reason judgment. Yes.
Yeah, you were just throwing out something.
One thing I want to say about Teresa.
Yes.
Her house looks insane.
It really does.
When she was like in her backyard, I was like, where is she? Like on some estate? Like, dude, the like, she had like a fenced in farmland with like this sick ass house. I was very jealous of that. It was just a random thought. I remember seeing her like in her backyard and I was like, what the hell? Like it looked incredible.
Teresa.
And she did the birthday suit kind of moment.
Yeah, so she says it's her birthday and she's like, why not come in my birthday suit? And she starts dropping that robe.
I thought she was naked.
The way that they edited
I thought she was naked. I was like, now we're talking. Like, this is next level. I was like, the way she sold it, it was
like, I'm in.
It was so real. I was like, dude, she's full on naked.
The way that
the way they shot it, and the way her eyes were, I was like, oh shit.
And then his face, and then her pulling it off. I'm like, this is a first, I believe, in Bachelor history that we have full nudity night one.
Hell yeah. That would have been epic. But then she had like a nude colored dress on.
Yeah, so that was like playing. Gorgeous and sparkly. But that was that was the right move.
You know what I mean? But it was
the fact so because
well
then she also gets to say too, she gets her moment with GGT where she gets to tell him it's my birthday tonight.
Yes.
So then you have the fun birthday suit combo, the sexy moment. Again, and then also just FYI, it's my birthday.
Exactly, which is always a classic little winner. So now you kind of owe them something. You know what I mean? Like, it's your happy birthday.
If I can give anyone one piece of advice,
just say it's your birthday all the time.
Just say it's your birthday the first night of the show, or on a night where you're like, I'm about to get cut. Yeah. Be like, by the way, everybody, it's my birthday.
It was my birthday because I think it's 7-Eleven. If you say it's your birthday, you get like a free slushie or something like that. So it was my birthday like 12 months a year when I was a kid. It was just they're like, wait, you're just that same guy that was in here last week wearing a golden fedora. And I'm like, it's my birthday, kid. Don't question
you're like,
me.
I have a series of costumes in my closet.
Just for
it's
7-Elevens.
Not because I love costumes, but it's just for the Slurpee of it all.
Yes, I just do like a 7-Eleven. I have 12 7-Elevens I hit, and I hit them once a month. Yeah, again, you know what? It was just another fun entrance.
Yes.
And it's something we don't see anymore. Like, what happened? Why did we lose the entrances? Like, it used to be like such a staple of the show, which was like people coming in doing all this crazy shit. Now, no one does anything. So it was a really nice refresher. I was like, oh, we get to see some fun entrances, some corny lines. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we also find out about Teresa that it's her 70th that day.
Yeah.
And she lost her husband 9 years ago. And Teresa is big bachelorette energy. I don't mean like gonna become the golden bachelorette. Maybe, but I mean more like this show, because Teresa throughout this episode was absolutely giving me just the pure, I'm really looking for love. Like I crave love. And we saw that throughout her narrative in this episode. And she discussed it in ITMs. She discussed it with GGT. And you see this pure desire to like find love.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think she's definitely going to be, she's another one. I mean, I felt like it was pretty clear, and we can discuss it afterwards, who his front runners were night one. You know, obviously that can change.
Yes.
It will shift. But Teresa was definitely one of his front runners.
I agree.
For sure.
She was great. And
she kisses him right on the lips, by the way,
I did
in
see
the
that.
entrance.
And it wasn't a makeout. It was like a kiss that deserved to be on a cheek.
Right on the lips.
Right on the lips.
Bold move, and I loved it.
It was, you know what it was? It was a kiss you give when you say goodbye to your significant other before they leave for work.
100%.
And that was like the first time I've ever seen that in any show ever.
I feel like that's when there was
because they kissed like it was like a hey babe, I'll see you later for dinner. Like it was like a mwah, right on the lips, but it wasn't a and it wasn't like a cheek. It was like a right on the lips, I'll see you later for dinner.
I think I wrote it down too, but someone else did it as well. Like a quick peck on the lips, and I was like, God damn, I love this. I'm living for this.
Right.
The confidence of just like, I'm just going straight in. We're doing a quick peck.
It's like, I feel like that's such a great like middle ground, because
you're breaking the ice too.
On the normal show, it's like either, well, I'm not ready yet, or tongue down the throat.
Sure.
But I mean, can't we find a middle ground here? Like, can I kiss you on the lips for a second and then call it, and then later on we do the tongue down the throat? I feel like these people figured it out. They're like, how about we just do a smooch? See if there's a little vibe there.
Break the ice.
But I don't have to do tongue down the throat.
Agreed.
So I liked it. It was a middle ground between tongue down the throat.
Shout out Teresa.
I look like I look so
he
horrific.
Just got himself in the monitor.
I just caught myself in the monitor. I've never seen anyone more just absolutely offensive by just my pure nature than I am right now. Like, this is hell. I didn't know I was capable of looking this horrific as a person. Anyway, continue on.
Oh my God. Okay, next we have my queen.
Oh, we talking about the A?
We're talking about the A-Town, April, Evan.
Everything we hoped for.
Evan.
We nailed it.
I mean, it wasn't hard to nail, because that photo of her in the cast bio was just, it was so, you saw April immediately, and you saw that photo and you knew who she was, and we were 100% correct. And Evan, it was better than I imagined.
Dude.
Because there was an energy in the photo with cast bio where I'm like, is she going to be very like, you know, this high society
like
energy
kind of
where
smug.
like there's kind of like a stick up the ass vibe a little bit. And she was a ball. She was, get this woman on the Real Housewives. Like,
I literally have this in my notes that I wrote.
Get this woman on the Real Housewives.
I said every time she did an ITM, I felt like I was just watching the Housewives and they were interviewing one of the Housewives.
Like
she has that energy.
Like,
incredible.
ditch all the other Housewives and bring her on. The fact that Bravo has not caught wind of April and that April is not part of the franchise is the biggest loss that they've ever taken.
Like she says, I've had 3 men, which I just absolutely love. Whatever that means.
Right.
Like married, love.
Yes.
That you currently have 3 men. You know what I mean? Whatever that means. And then the whole chicken dance, butt smack. I mean, dude, she's everything you could ever hope and want.
When she walked up and she's like, I grew up on a chicken farm and my eggs are still fresh. Fabulous line.
Yes.
Hilarious. She says she is eccentric, that normal is boring. She's doing bird calling. So obviously I'm resonating with her. I'm like out here doing my crow calls. I'm like, April's out here doing like chicken calls and stuff. I'm like, April, I love you. Yeah. I see you. She's so free.
You know
she's
what?
like,
yeah.
there's so much freedom in this person. And the fact that she's doing the chicken dance, smacking her ass, just having the best time. Normal is boring, like she said.
Yes.
I'm like, give us the merch, April. Normal is boring.
Honestly,
you are
it's
everything
great
to
merch.
us.
I'm jealous of her because she is a character. And I love characters.
You love
know
a character.
me. I absolutely
Love a
adore
character.
characters. In my own personal life, like some of my friends are absolute characters. Those are the most treasured. I'm jealous of people who are characters because being a character has got to be the funnest existence ever.
1,000%.
And you can't fake it.
No.
And it's got to be real.
No, you
Like
can't- you can't fake being a
the
character.
April vibe. Like April
No.
is her own person. Even, and I want to get, like, we'll get into, maybe I can jump ahead to this, but
You want to talk about
the calendar?
You want to talk about the fucking calendar?
Dude, her calendar was insane. Okay, she had a calendar of only pictures of herself doing like farm stuff, and then every month was April. Like,
Evan,
that killed
when
me,
she opened
dude.
the calendar and it was April, I right away knew, okay, it's going to be 12 photos of her.
Sure.
But then I thought she just started on the month of
Yeah,
April.
of course.
But when she turned the page and it said
all April, dude.
I was like, this woman is my deity.
It's because characters think differently. Characters, like, no one in like who's not a character would think, let me put together a calendar of myself and every month is April.
Yeah.
That's just, you can't think that way unless you are built like a character, and April's built that way. The fact that she presented him with like green screen-esque pictures of herself in a calendar where there's only 1 month for 12 times, she was incredible. I loved her. And the fact that she didn't know about the rose, remember?
Oh,
she had to be
yeah.
explained. Like Teresa was like, yeah, so the rose is like, she's like, what, how many of those are there? Like she didn't even know how the show worked.
No, because you know why? Because April is just like, my schedule is packed because I have 100 photo shoots for myself.
No one
lined
asked
up.
for them. She
You
just
know
does them.
Every year that April does many photo shoots just for personal joy, and I'm obsessed.
And if anyone else did that, you would hate them for it. But April, for some reason, can pull it off. Like people like April pull off things that no one else can pull off.
And you worship it.
Like you walk into April's house, there's a massive oil painting of herself, and it doesn't bother you.
No, and normally you'd be like, this
who
is
is
a wild
this
red
egomaniac?
flag. But
Yeah.
with April, I'm like, I appreciate this. And I would also like that exact painting for my own house to put of you in my living room.
Not of you, but of April.
Exactly. I don't want one of me.
No.
I want one of April.
I love her.
I am
She's gonna be
obsessed
fun.
with her. Also,
I mean, I don't think she's gonna like personally. I don't think she's gonna like go far.
I don't see her with GGT.
But I think that she is a riot, and I think she's gonna provide a lot of.
She also
comedic
is.
relief.
She's reality TV gold.
Yes.
So she's
gonna get on the Housewives if she doesn't.
she's going to be on something.
Yes.
If not, it's going to be a waste. And I have to tell you this too. After seeing that calendar, you better trust and believe what you're going to be getting for Christmas, because April inspired me. You will be receiving a Jessica calendar.
There's no Jessica month, babe. I forgot to tell you, but there's no month of Jessica.
You think that's going to stop me, King? You think I am now, April's energy
January,
is flowing.
February, March, Jessica,
her
April.
energy is flowing through my body, and I'm telling you, I am inspired, and I don't fucking care if there's not a month called Jessica. You're getting a Jessica calendar.
Okay.
Okay. If he doesn't want it, I'll start selling it online. Okay. Next. Oh, by the way, too, that's who it was. April then kissed him on the lips too. Right after Teresa, she kissed him directly on the lips.
Love it.
God, I love this.
Love a smooch.
Love a smooch. Next, we have Renee, and Renee is in her tracksuit cheering.
Oh yeah, she was sweet.
Cheering for GGT. And her cheer was hilarious. Something like, I hope to bring you lots of luck because I'm the girl you want to marry.
Yeah,
it was very funny. It was very funny. By the way, people were sending me DMs about the fact that Renee is good friends with Pilot Pete's mom, Sweet Nums.
Okay.
Which now it makes perfect sense, and they actually kind of look very similar. And Renee was one of the women who didn't make it past night one, as goes with Matt James's mom.
Yeah.
And it was
Shocker.
bewildering to me.
Shocker.
Bewildering to me that Matt James's mom, Patty, and Renee, who's tight with Sweet Nums, the two people who have the Bachelor connection, did not get past night one.
Well, Patty was taller than him, and he's like 6'2".
Yeah.
So that was shocking to me. I had no idea the height on her.
She's very tall. She's
That
tall
was
drink of water.
wild.
She's tall drink of water.
He was looking down on everyone by like 7 inches.
Yeah.
And then she comes out and he's kind of looking up. And that blew my mind. I had no idea she was that tall.
No, she's like supermodel tall.
But the only thing that I didn't like from her, like it was not something I thought about, but the fact that the opening line was something about the fact that like, I know this could work because my son was on the show.
I know, but you know that that
that's-
she was told, like, she has to say that.
I'm not saying it was her fault. I'm more just saying like, it wasn't I didn't get personal vibes from it. And so I think that probably he has to make such a quick decision in the moment that like, it didn't feel like personal. It felt like I'm way too familiar with this show. And maybe in his brain, he was kind of like, you know what? I don't really know much about the show. I kind of want to meet someone else who doesn't know. Like, I don't know. Who knows what it was?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, too, even in cast bio, just knowing a little bit of Patty from Matt James's season, I didn't see them working out. I didn't think that there was going to be a vibe there. But I will tell you what, if I was Patty, I'd be pissed. I'd be like...
There's so much buildup.
I'd be like, you also are... promoing me for the show, like Matt James
has been talking
mom.
about it. There's been posts and stories.
I'd be like, dude, I better have in my contract that I'm staying.
You would think that they would just keep her around, just kind of like written in, at least for a couple of weeks. But
I mean, it kind of
maybe he totally controls the vibe,
which is unusual.
Exactly.
So I'm like, is something different going on?
Maybe they're giving. Maybe he kind of said, "Hey, I'm not playing this game. I'm not keeping anybody around who actually I'm not like into."
It seems like it could be that way because I was absolutely shocked. But after Renee, there's Maria. They have a cute dance. Anna was cute. She's like, I like adventure. Let's get the hell out of here. Susan then shows up, aka Kris Jenner.
Dude, she is amazing. Like, what?
Incredible.
Dude, you see the smile before you see her. So like her smile precedes her. Correct. She's got like a TV host from the 50s smile, like hello and welcome. You know what I mean? Like she's got Susan. Exactly.
And she is dolled in a gown, a glittery gown with purple feathers. It is drama. Mm-hmm. The women really brought it with the clothes, by the way. They were wearing stunning fits. Jerry had the gorgeous suit, and the women were really bringing it with the gowns. But she had like a proper Academy Award outfit going on. And she right away comes up and she's like, Jerry, I'm going to marry you. She is walking away. The line of the fucking night, she walks away and says, Jerry, you see these heels? I'm very comfortable with 6 inches. Incredible. An incredible line.
That was a great line.
Because she threw it away, too.
Yeah.
She didn't go right up to Jerry and say that immediately. She's walking out, which leads me to believe it wasn't, like, there's something, people are going to be like, Jessica, you're wrong. But I feel like it wasn't even planned. She was walking away, and she threw it over her shoulder. Just like, by the way, very comfortable with 6
Now, the only thing I'm wondering about that comment is you could put the guy in a mind game.
It's true.
If he's not quite at that level, he could be could fuck him up a little bit.
That's very true. That's very true. You don't know what's going on.
You don't know. So I thought that was a bold move.
It is a bold move.
I was like, wait, I'm in my head about that. Like, what are you trying to say?
Next we have Patty, who we spoke about. She, by the way, that dress was incredible. Did you get a look at her dress? I want that dress.
Yes.
It was absolutely stunning. Then we have Sylvia and Jeannie. And then we get Chippy, who when Chippy came out, when she was like, are we there? See you in hell.
No, yeah. She gets out of the limo and talking to the rest of the ladies, I'll see you in hell. I was like, dude, who is this? Like,
when you just heard "see you in hell,"
it was like, "I'll see you in hell." Like,
Aunt
it was
Chippy,
like amazing.
I have to tell you something. I am actually like really bummed out that Aunt Chippy is not staying because I fucking love Aunt Chippy.
Well, I recognized her.
Yeah.
When she got out, I was like, "Wait a second."
You're like, I know her.
And then I realized, oh, Kimmel. I was like, okay, she used to come on the show a lot, so I remember watching. The show a lot, no big deal. I've worked on the show a lot of times, no big deal. But I'm just saying, I remember her.
Did you ever meet Aunt Chippy?
I never met her, but I saw her walking down the halls and stuff. I'd seen her before.
Stop it. I love her.
No, she's an absolute character. But I remember even watching the show back in the day, Kimmel, she would always come on. And so like, I was hoping that was a real person. Then I realized, oh, okay.
I was like, I want Aunt Chippy on my fucking screen. I want Aunt Chippy. I love Aunt Chippy.
She fell asleep later.
And then she fell asleep later. And I mean, my God, all of us would be.
She woke up and goes, did I get a rose? Out of dead sleep.
She's just incredible. She is everything to me. And she was like, my nephew's Jimmy Kimmel. And I wanted to meet The Bachelor. And I just wish that we would have gotten more Chippy.
Yeah,
like,
she's fun.
And it not being a shtick.
Yeah.
Put her on for real, please. I love her. She's fabulous, and I worship Chippy. And then we have our final limo entrance, and it is Faith.
Loved it. Loved it.
Faith rolls up on a motorcycle with a leather jacket, and when she takes that helmet off, they give her a slow-mo shot when she whips her hair around, and GGT's mouth is on the floor.
Yes.
His mouth opened, literally.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, damn.
She came out and she was so, especially connected to her date later.
Yes.
Can I talk about the date later?
Please.
We're here now. So
you mean the serenade?
Yeah. So she comes out in a motorcycle. She comes out super badass, super cool, calm, collected, sweet, beautiful, the whole thing. Later on the date, she busts out a straight up guitar and starts playing a song that she wrote for him.
And also, by the way, during this moment, they're talking before she plays the song.
And she's strumming while he's talking.
And she's strumming with like background music.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you know me and Jess, you know we absolutely hate serenades.
100%.
We absolutely despise people looking into our eyes and singing a song they wrote for us.
Worst case scenario.
Especially if it's bad. But even if it's good, it's like, please don't do this. Just maybe like email me the MP3 of it. This might be the only time in the history of TV, in the history of any serenading I've ever seen or been a part of where I thought, you did it.
Evan.
You did it. And it's because she's that comfortable in her skin and she knows what she's good at. And and again, the voice and the song were not especially great. Like they were fine. It wasn't like, oh my God, incredible.
Right.
It had everything to do with the fact that she was so comfortable in her own, she was so comfortable in her own skin and wasn't trying to be someone she wasn't. So a lot of times what happens in these serenades is like you got some accountant who's like trying to force some weird vibe and we're all screaming in the inside.
Or someone who's like, I'm a musician and I want you to find my newest single on Spotify tonight. Like, dude, vibe.
And this is why it worked. It's because she's a true, like, 60s, 70s, ex-hippie, cool Woodstock.
Yeah.
And that's why. You could tell. She was like, dude, this woman's like, I don't even know how old she was.
61.
61. You could tell that she was like on a motorcycle and she was playing guitar, but not out of some like, I'm trying to impress you or be someone I'm not. I could see her at 18 years old at Woodstock being who she was back in the day. And then she just kept through that vibe. And it was the most genuine, like, oh, you actually lived the life of this kind of person. And it exuded from her. And she was playing guitar too. It wasn't like, here comes my song. It was like, I do this all the time and I just sing songs and vibe. It was very like Joni Mitchell. Like,
yes.
You see videos of her in the 60s, like playing, just in the back of a car and you're like, oh, that's just what it is. She gave off that energy.
It's the essence of cool.
Dude, I was like in shock by how cool she was.
Same, Evan. And I was feeling the exact same thing because I was like the riding up of the motorcycle with the leather jacket, the serenade. With anyone else on this show, I hated it. It would have been like, you and I would have been like, nope. But she just had the most massive essence of cool just emanating off of her. And it was so just the ease of it all. When she was strumming the guitar while talking to him, I was like hypnotized.
I was afraid at first. I saw the guitar in the frame.
Yeah,
and I was
sure.
Shit, I really liked her. She pulled off the motorcycle. That was very cool. And I liked it a lot. And then she started talking and singing. And I was like, oh my gosh, she did it. Huge fan.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously he is too. But I'm just saying like,
you
can't teach that level of cool.
No. I mean, she says that she's in her ITM. She said, I'm a fun monger. And I'm like, if you know me, you know my most favorite person on the world is a cheesemonger because I love a cheese.
By the way, guys, side note, everyone, check this out. We went to a restaurant the other day. Yeah. First time we love cheese boards. It's kind of our thing. Charcuterie, cheese boards, the whole deal. We went to a place. Not a fancy restaurant either. No. Just kind of like a neighborhood Italian restaurant. We go in there. They have a cheese board on the menu. Yeah. And we go, we'll take one of those, please. And they go, would you like to talk to the monger about the... And we're like, what are you talking about?
Excusez-moi?
They have a guy whose only job is to talk to you about cheese.
He's the cheesemonger.
Massive. Just side note. First and only time we've ever encountered one. It's incredible.
We were literally captivated by the cheesemonger. He could have talked to us for 2 hours. Like he knew everything about cheese.
I thought a cheesemonger was slang for like people who love cheese. I didn't know it was an actual thing. I had no idea it was like a sommelier of cheese.
But you know that I love a cheesemonger. Mm-hmm. And she said funmonger. And I'm like, there's somehow even something better than a cheesemonger.
She's the sommelier of fun.
The sommelier of fun.
She's very cool.
Absolutely excellent. This is a powerful group of women. Yeah. And GGT tells Jesse, by the way, that his big thing is that he knows right away because he loves when that smile gets up to the eyes, which you always talk about, smiling with the eyes.
You can't fake it. You can fake the mouth.
Yep.
But you can't fake the eyes. Mm-hmm. People wonder if I'm smiling truly most of the time. They say things like, are you tired or are you actually happy? And I say yes, just because my eyes don't smile. So I think I recognize when other people have that, I go, wow, you are special. Jess has that. Jess has the ultimate. She smiles with her nose, her mouth, and her eyes. I smile with just my mouth. Sorry if it's terrifying.
Well, GGT comes out and he is just such a gentleman, making sure that they're comfy. His speech is so lovely, telling them that they're inspiring to him. Yeah. April pulls him first. She's like, can I talk to you? And she gives him the full calendar rundown. And I love that. I think it was Faith was like, I thought she never saw the show before. So maybe April's being sneaky smart and is like, I've never seen it before, so that she can pull those moves. But I think that that's just April. April's just like the type of person who's like, I'm going to talk to him first.
Loved it.
I'm going to live by my own rules. That's April.
But she's unoffensive about it.
No, not at all. She's lovable.
Yeah, lovable.
So lovable. And then there is Ellen and Gary, and they are hitting it off. She's right away, telling him that she's a believer in finding love and never giving up. And he is, that eye contact is locked in. That's when we're seeing some of that serious eye contact of his, which I absolutely adore. And he is like, you are very passionate about this. And she brings up Roberta. And he right away, when he said this, my heart melted. He's like, you have my attention. And I'm like, that's a line. You have my attention is a line.
That's a line. He had a couple smooth ones.
He had some, he is smooth as butter.
He's smoother than any Bachelor we've ever seen so far.
100%.
He's got one-liners. He's confident. He's good with the eye contact.
He's also funny. He's got a great sense of humor.
Honestly, very impressed.
I believe he's going to be the best Bachelor we've ever had. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel that wholeheartedly. And Ellen, in her ITMs, says that it's the best day in her life in a long time. Yes. And then she's shouting out, she's like, Roberta, he's a hunk. I'm crying.
Time to cry.
Ellen is fantastic.
Yes.
Ellen is fantastic.
Incredible.
Then we have Natasha and Gary. And Natasha, I hope and pray that Natasha is around for a hot minute, because Natasha is stunning. She is fab. Her energy is fantastic. When she has them sit down and she's like, we're going to do an intro laugh together. And I'm like, what in the world is an intro laugh? Like, what does this mean? She says, when I laugh, you laugh with me. And she says, my name is Natasha. And she starts laughing, and immediately he's dying laughing. And then he says, my name is Gary. And they're just cracking up together. And I'm like,
I started laughing.
So did I. I was like belly laughing. I'm like, Natasha, you found the key.
Yeah. It's just, this just hit me right now. This is what happens when you don't look at your phone for 70 years. Like, these people are 70 years old on average, 65, 70, whatever.
Probably, yeah.
They're present.
Yeah.
They're here. they're comfortable with themselves. They've gone through shit. They're sitting in themselves and going, who am I? I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not. I'm not looking at the internet all day long. I'm not browsing social media and comparing myself. They have a presence that is like weird to watch because we're so used to watching young people on TV, which we are like, all the young people on the show, we're all insecure. You know, everyone's like insecure and trying to kind of prove themselves and not overdo it and play games. These people are the opposite. They're like present, non-game playing, honest. And it's like, I don't know. It's like incredible to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they're just there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a weird thing. So watching her do this, like that laugh thing, no one in their 25s would have done that.
They wouldn't feel comfortable.
They wouldn't feel comfortable to realize this is what means something to me. I like this. I'm going to do this with this person I might fall in love with. She does it, and it's incredibly likable.
And it's so, you know, you're 100% right. And it's so something that like when she did it, it was so powerful. Like she's making us laugh. And I felt like a moment of joy off of the screen, just watching them bust up together.
Yes.
And she just broke down the walls of them not knowing each other yet with this moment. But yeah, we probably would have been like, if it would have been someone in their 20s, or honestly me, I would have been like, is this gonna like read a certain way on TV? Like where people will be like, oh, is this be feeling cringy or whatever? And it was the opposite of cringy.
Yes.
It was pure joy.
Loved it.
I love her.
Love
I
her.
need more Natasha.
Yes.
Give us more Natasha. And then hopping right into that, the Marina and Gary moment where Marina was like, my daughter wanted me to tell you that she thinks you're dope. And then he's like, my granddaughter told me I had Riz. And
That was amazing.
And they're then dying laughing. And
The Riz comment.
And Marina IRL.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yes.
Like, holy
Yes.
smokes.
So
We said supermodel in those cast bios and truly
striking.
straight up supermodel.
Striking.
And then we see a few other moments with a few of the ladies, like Susan and Gary had a like fave same song moment. Then we have the Faith and Gary moment, obviously, like we discussed with the guitar. Also, he is locked in. He is telling her how attractive she is. He thinks she's a grade A hottie.
Faith?
Yes.
Yes. Well, one thing that was shocking to me on the level, again, of confidence of holding eye contact was he stared deeply into her eyes as she sang to him.
He did.
I would have absolutely, no matter how awesome she was, I would have looked. I would have done this. I would have been like,
turned away to like vibe with the music.
yeah. I would have been like, I would have kind of closed my eyes and then looked back at her and then closed my eyes again. But he was just like,
oh yeah, he was there.
I was like, damn, GGT, comfortable in your own skin, king.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, they have serious chemistry. He thinks she's a hottie. It's rolling. It's rolling. And then Leslie and GGT, he remembers her dress, and then they start dancing, and he's, again, like we were saying before, the freedom. He's just so free. He's like, I'm not a good dancer, but he's just letting it loose. He's not tight. He's having a good time. He doesn't care that there's the cameras on him. They're having a party. And then I was obsessed that production then let all the women come in and they have a full-blown dance party.
The dance party, again, it's everything should be cringe as fuck, but it is not.
No.
That dance party I was smiling.
It was pure joy.
I was like, why is this, like, if anyone would have done this, it would have been so cringy.
Again, if it like the 25-year-olds, it would have been like, oh, this is so awkward.
But it was so sweet.
It was so, and it was joyous. I was like up on my feet. I was moving around. I wanted to be part of it. And there was a moment where Gary says, nobody has fun like we have fun, right? And again, the tears started coming because I don't know if he was referring to like him and this group of ladies, but I almost kind of took it as like people in that age demo.
Yeah.
And it was another moment where I'm like, yes, this is like the representation for people who are in their 60s and 70s.
Yes.
And it's like, no one has fun like us,
Yes.
right? And you're just seeing people who, when there's like the ageism creeps in where it's like, oh, that, you know, when you get to this age, like you can't have fun anymore. You're this way, you're that way. You're like, here is a group of people who are just having a blast. And I loved that.
100%.
No one has fun like, nobody has fun like we have fun, right?
It was so nice.
What a moment. What a moment. And throughout this whole thing, we see all the women encouraging each other. They're telling each other how amazing their dresses look, their necklaces, their faces. Like, it's all just compliments. And like you said before, you see that we don't need that toxic drama to produce a show that is so enjoyable to watch.
It just went down nice and easy. You know, if you didn't like it, I understand if you're like, you know, addicted to the drama. Maybe it took a second to get used to, but if you finished it and hated it, I think you need to really look deep down inside of yourself and see what kind of darkness is going on, because I understand you not liking it for the lack of drama, but it was such a just hug. It was a show that hugged you. And so I think you need to check yourself, because it was very enjoyable.
So then Jesse Palmer brings out the first impression rose, and we see that a lot of the women haven't gotten time yet, which all of a sudden then I'm thinking, how long are they keeping everyone up as late as they would keep, you know, the 25 to 30s up? I'm not sure, because all of them then were saying, we heard GGT say later, like, this is the latest I've ever been up and everyone's tired. Chippy's sleeping. Like, it's up. They're up late.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if they kept them up quite as late. I don't feel like I saw the sun coming in, so maybe not quite as late, but we didn't see the exit ITMs like we typically see. Then we have the Teresa and Gary moment, and this is a bachelorette princess. She wants to be in love. She mentions GGT's daughters, and she brings up her daughter Jenny and says that she wrote a note for her before she came, and she reads it to Gary, and he's laughing after she's talking about the food in her teeth, and they have that connection. He's like, it sounds like something that my daughters would write to me.
One thing I will say about Gary. Oh my God, I don't even know his name now, because it's like...
It's Gary Turner.
One thing I will say about him is that he is sweet, kind, but doesn't give you something unless he feels it. So like there was multiple times during entrances where he would smile at them, but he wouldn't belly laugh.
Yes.
Whenever he belly laughed, you could tell there's the chemistry.
Yes.
So like with Teresa, he like belly laughed multiple times.
Yeah, he let out some big laughs.
So I feel like he's very generous and kind with his energy, and that like he'll smile at you and say you're really sweet, but he won't belly laugh. So he's not the guy who, that you don't never know who he likes or he doesn't like. It seems like the laughter is a key to like knowing if, there was multiple times where Teresa didn't even say something that was that funny and he laughed hard. And it's like, that's a true sign of when you like someone
He's got
a lot.
the butterflies.
So with Teresa, there was big butterflies. Teresa and Faith, to me, were like the top two of like, I think those two seem to be like, he's the, like, I could tell he was probably torn between the Faith and Teresa when it came to the first impression.
Well, smoochies with both of them.
And he initiated it.
Yes.
Because he said, hey, it's your birthday. I'm going to have a bite of this.
Yeah, he brought her out a cupcake.
And he says, will you help me take care of some of this frosting that I know will be on my lips? And then he kisses her. So it was a very smooth move. He wanted to make out with her.
100%. 100%. And yeah, she kisses him. She gets that frosting off of his face. And she says that it's been forever since she kissed a guy, and it was incredible. And it's been an amazing 70th birthday. I'm like, how cool to have your 70th birthday. Think about that. Because this show has only ever been of a certain age demo, like you never thought ever. And it seems like Teresa's a fan of the show because she knew kind of the rules and outline for it.
She helped April with the rules.
Yeah. It's like she probably never thought that she'd ever have the opportunity to be on this franchise, and here she is on her 70th birthday, night one, making out with the Bachelor.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Well, GGT then decides who he's going to give his first impression rose to, and I assumed it was probably going to be Teresa because of the smoochie.
I knew it was between her and Faith. I was like, it's
I also thought
be,
Ellen,
or maybe Ellen.
There was that
three.
connection with Ellen. But he delivers that first impression rose to Faith, and he tells her all the things about her. You know, he's like, it wasn't the motorcycle or the guitar or how cool and amazing and beautiful you are. He's like, you make me feel very special.
Yes.
And then they kiss. And I'm going to be honest with you,
Fire flame.
Jerry Gary Turner looks like a good kisser.
You know what?
He looks like a good kisser.
He's 2 for 2 so far. He's 2 for 2.
It was a good kiss. Both were good kisses.
Both were good kisses.
Then we get to the rose ceremony, and leading up to the rose ceremony, April's cracking me up. She's like, God, I hope I stick around. We didn't even get to first base.
Loved it.
And then there's Kathy. Kathy's commentary was also, she is another ITM queen. Her commentary was killing me the entire time. She's just like, I gotta stay around for this rose. When the roses were getting passed around, she's like, okay, Jerry Gary, you gotta look at me. You gotta look at me. Eye contact with me, Jerry Gary. Like, I gotta stay here, Jerry Gary.
Yeah. She was the only one, too, that had a little...
She had a little bit of
a little spite, a little like shit talking energy.
Yes.
It's the only one. Everyone else wasn't that way, but Kathy was the only. I was waiting for, like, she was kind of like, it's been way too long, and like those kind of comments.
Well,
and I was
there
like,
was a couple with the women where she'd be kind of like, oh God, that's a lot, whatever.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like, it was funny. It was playful.
Oh, it was so mild compared to like what we're used to. But I will say it was nice to know, like, oh, there's one of them that's got a little,
We've got
daggers in there.
We got someone in the
necessary.
ITMs who, and she ends up sticking around.
Yes.
So rose ceremony, he says he's been dreading this for many months because, he doesn't want to break anybody's heart.
Yeah.
But he gives the first rose to Ellen. And then there's Teresa, Joan, Natasha, Leslie, Christina, Edith, Nancy, April, Sandra, Jeannie, Kathy. Kathy gets her rose.
Yeah.
Kathy gets her
I was
rose.
a little shocked by that just because, they didn't show anything about her other than like the comments. So, but
maybe they want to keep her around too
Love
for the
that.
ITMs. Marina, Peggy, and then the last rose goes to Susan. And going home is Matt James' mom, Patty, Renee, Sweetnum's friend, Pamela, Maria, Anna. He starts he's crying. And he's
clearly a very sensitive and empathetic person.
Very
and it seems
empathetic.
like the previews for the future are going to be, that's going to be his biggest struggle, is like maybe being called, hey, you led me on, which is inevitable. It's inevitable to lead
someone's
someone
gonna feel
on.
that way. Sure.
It's inevitable. So it sounds like he's someone who is very in touch with his feelings and is very aware of like not wanting to hurt people.
Yes.
And people get hurt in this process is just a part of it. And you could just tell that will be his downfall, is like, or not downfall, but that will be his like biggest struggle, is the fact that he feels like he has to break a bunch of people's hearts.
Totally. Well, in the season preview, I mean, the line that he throws out, stop looking for the woman you can live with and start looking for the woman you can't live without.
What a
Great line. But they're like partying. Like the budget looks big for this season.
It does look bigger, and I love to see it because I'm so sick and tired of just like picnics in the park for dates. And so I really hope they ramp up.
And
a
I am
little
so
bit.
happy for GGT, but I also then felt like anger for Charity because Charity season was so good and they didn't have them leave the US until the very end. I'm like,
We're
can we
going to Barstow? And you're like,
can
God
we
damn it.
Can we ramp the budget up for Charities as
Can we
well?
spend
Because what a fabulous
$100
season.
on a date?
Like, come on. But I was happy to see that they were ramping it up for this season because it looks like the dates are going to be super fun. Also, like very adventurous.
Yeah.
Lots of wild stuff going on. They had that diner scene where they're all dancing together. I'm like,
It's like a
this
flash
looks
mob.
incredible.
Yeah, it looks fun.
It's like Golden Bachelor flash mob. But like you said, I mean, there are some intense scenes. We have like Teresa bawling in it. He's sitting on the stairs sobbing. There's going to be... This season is going to be, I think, full of a lot of joy, and it's also going to have a lot of intense moments, but it feels so...
I'm loving it so far.
It was absolutely fantastic.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited for the rest of this season. Like I'm telling you, if you haven't watched it, you have to watch it. It's also just an hour long, and I wanted more, which I loved. I loved that the episode ended, and I was like, I want more of this episode. I wasn't like, oh, is it almost done? It was like, no. I want excess.
Yes.
Give me more.
Agreed.
Give me more. So absolutely fantastic.
Great
we
job.
love you, GGT. All the ladies were fabulous.
Fabulous.
And I can't wait.
Yes.
I cannot wait.
I'm excited. I really enjoyed it. I thought everyone was sweet and kind, and it didn't feel flat. It was awesome.
It was great.
I think it's going to be awesome. Next
Well,
show.
then we took a sharp turn, a very different sharp turn
To the beach.
to the beach for the first episode of Bachelor in Paradise. And, we get our We get our intro, and it is goofy, and I loved it.
Yes.
I loved the goofy intro. There's, I think, a song, I think, from like Flashdance, and everyone, they're soaking themselves with water running through with their suitcases. I thought it was great.
It was fun. It was just fun.
I know that there's been mixed reviews about this, but I've loved in the past couple of years, like the corniness that they have brought into BIP. It's very like camp, cheesy, fun, and I like it.
I genuinely think this is going to be good. And I genuinely enjoyed the first episode.
You did.
To the point where I was like thinking about it kind of regularly. Like moments would pop in my head about like, that was funny.
I saw a lot of people online who did not like the first episode, and you were like into the first episode.
Really
you kept bringing it up. We watched it a few days ago, and you were like chatting about it.
I don't know. I'm like, I get it. Like, again, we're used to like, the only thing that is good is when it's like fucked up. You know what I mean? And there's some crazy shit. But I will say, it's like, I thought it was interesting, and I thought there's going to be some fun personalities. I liked the fact that there was already some things happening. I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed the people so far. I think it's going to be good. Sue me. I'm bringing positive energy. My bad.
I liked it too. I know. I was surprised with some of the online commentary. I was
Let's stop being so negative. Okay, I get it. The internet is a place where you get clicks, or you get likes, or you go after things if you're just negative as shit. I get it. But I think it's time to turn the ship a little bit.
Wow. Therapy.
And let's be positive and fun. And let's just have a good time, man. Like, it's not always about takes that are negative. Let's have some positive takes. Let's have a good time. Now, sure, will I talk shit? Yes.
I was like, what is about it?
Will I have negative takes? Yes. Will I be an asshole? Yes. But encompassed in a positive vibe, okay? Okay, we're coming together. Let's have fun. We can be negative when we have fun, because it's like a fun negative vibe. But let's have fun, okay? No more negative for negative sakes. Fun, negative is fine. But fun, let's just have fun, okay? Everyone have fun, all right? Anyway, Bachelor in Paradise. I'm really on my pedestal today.
Yeah, God, it's the golden fedora. It's really bringing it out of you.
Honestly, I think it is that, because I look down at myself every once in a while on the monitor and be like, big douchebag vibes. I'm like on a pedestal. I'm on my golden. You know what it is? I'm someone else. And so maybe I'm just bringing that energy today. Ooh, sorry, guys. I love you guys all, and I'm really sorry that I'm being this way today. Got a lot stored deep down, and I think that's what's going on. A lot of things. So we open the beach
by seeing Jesse Palmer in loafers on the sand.
See, now I'm being negative all of a sudden. Well,
that was quick.
Going against everything I just said.
That was quick.
That was quick. I hereby decree no more loafers.
On the beach?
No more loafers anywhere.
Anywhere? I like a loafer.
No. If you're just a Jesse Palmer type guy, or a Sean type guy, or any type of guy like that, or any type of guy that looks like this,
yourself.
No loafers. No loafers. I'm done with the loafer game. They go with the fedora. You know what? Loafers are very much the fedora of the feet. Can we not agree to that?
I guess.
Loafers are, oh my gosh, I just fucking broke through the third wall. Loafers are the fedora of the feet. Can I hear an amen? Can I hear an amen? I want to hear your view on this, because I truly believe the fedoras are loafers of the feet. They're kind of annoying. They kind of give off a out of touch vibe to me. Also, loafers on the sand immediately in there, rubbing, horrific. It's not even a sand style thing.
Can we give JP a flip flop?
It's not an anti-JP thing. It's just an anti-loafer. No, but
I want to give for the comfort of JP. I want to give him a flip flop, or I want to give him a bare foot on the sand just for his comfort. It just feels so unnecessarily uncomfortable to have a loafer on the sand.
Also, why is he in like a business casual outfit? He's in like a button-down shirt with jeans.
I mean, what is he supposed to
on the sand?
But what is he supposed to be in?
I'd love to see him in just kind of like shorts.
Maybe kind of like a linen-y vibe.
Exactly. Give me the vacation linen-y vibe. Yeah, give me shorts with a linen shirt, buttoned up, with like Yeah, that's it. At
or
least
even like
it's
linen pants and a
he
linen
looks like a
button-down.
guy who's going to sell you a timeshare.
But like, let's just. I
Who
just
was
want to
in
see
the office and then he has to come down to the sand to like check in on the guest who's interested in the timeshare. Hey, sir, I did notice that you signed up for the whale watching trip. Now that is free if you come to the meeting for 2 hours. And he's in his loafers, in his jeans on the sand because he works in the office up at the hotel. Why are we doing that?
We just want to see Vacation Jesse. I mean, because he is on vacation right now. Okay, before the cast hits the beach, though, we do have a few intros. And I just, some of the intros were fantastic. I just want to make note of a couple of them. One of which was Sean's. Okay, so we're in the bathroom of Sean, obviously marble top to bottom. And he immediately says that he looks like a Ken doll. Because Sean is now fixated on the fact that he got to have the Barbie Ken date and one of the producers was like, wow, you look just like Ken, or one of the other guys. And now it is his full soul identity that he looks just like a Ken doll. And then the show through with a little asterisk at the bottom does in fact not look like a Ken doll. And I was deceased. I said, bravo. What a move on the show's part to start trolling him from the top, which again gave me the immediately, like, when we watched The Men Tell All, I'm like, I'm getting the vibe from the show, from JP, that Sean is going to give us some villain energy during the season. And the fact that we're starting off the intros with the show trolling Sean, and then even later again in the show, when he said that he's a big Swiftie, he told Jess he's a big Swiftie, and they said not in fact a real Taylor Swift fan, I died. I loved it.
Sean is a human fedora. Just not to bring you back to the fedoras, but I feel like it just encapsulates so much. I am starting to really like Sean.
Oh my God.
But not
what
in the
just
way,
happened?
not in the way of like, I want to hang out with you.
Right.
In the way of he just bleeds, like it just comes out of him. Like even him just calling himself a Ken doll. Most people would know that's a tasteless thing to do, is call yourself a super hot guy. Like whether you're Ken, who's known to be like a very hot doll,
Sure.
or Ryan Gosling, who is known to be one of the hottest guys in Hollywood. Either way, you're just calling yourself so hot.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that's tactless, but the fact that he doesn't is just, I love it. I love people that just aren't even aware of how what they're doing. And he's prime time.
He after the show aired and it said he is not in fact a Taylor Swift fan, he went on his Instagram and posted an Insta story, and he's like, I come with receipts, Bachelor in Paradise, and posted a video of himself at a T Swift concert. And someone is filming Taylor, and then they go to Sean, and he is dancing and singing with a drink. And I could be wrong because maybe my phone was delayed a bit, so I apologize if this is wrong, but it looked like to me he was mouthing the words and messing up 80% of them. So the vibe I got more is, you're getting on board.
You're going there for the girls. Let's be real. Sean, 3 songs. You go there for the girls just so that you can tell them you're a Swiftie, and they go, no, hey, that's so hot. My boyfriend's not a Swiftie. It's exactly what that is.
Sean gives you the energy of somebody who 100% is going to a Taylor Swift concert to pick up women. And I say, enjoy the Swiftie, but like, come on. Do not desecrate the name of Taylor Swift, okay?
Dude, everything he does is like to like surprise girls. Like, no way you do that. That's so cool. Like, that's what he does.
It's also just like, oh, you're a Taylor Swift fan? Welcome to the entire world.
Yeah, like it's like big. You know what's a great movie? Star Wars. Everyone's like, what? What's that? Like, are you kidding me? It's just like the most basic. But
you know what? You sound pretty negative.
You know what? You're right. Side note. Guess who the only person who ever called him that he says he looks like a Ken doll is?
Who?
His mom.
Probably.
You know what I mean? He gets called Ken doll at home all the time, so that he thinks that like the world thinks he looks like a Ken doll.
Probably.
Although I will say
he does.
He kind of does look like a Ken
he
doll.
does.
Okay.
He does. Yeah.
Side note.
I mean, it is what it is.
He does actually look like Ken.
But when we're in his bathroom during these intros, he is doing a full like skincare routine. Like, he's giving us
self-care king.
What I'm saying to you is this man is primed, fit, and ready for his influencing career. Like
Yeah.
he's already doing get ready with me's. The show is like, hey, we're doing an intro package. Like talk a little bit about yourself. And he's like, fuck that. I'm going to talk about my moisturizing routine because I want everybody to know that if they follow me, they're going to get the full get ready with me's. Like we're doing it top to bottom. So he's prepared. You know, he's preparing himself.
He's looking at all options.
He really is. But something else to note.
Okay.
That number one from Brooklyn. We're hearing she's not stoked about Kat coming. So we had talked about have they, squashed the beef since. Doesn't appear.
I mean,
so.
Unless after the show they did, or like during the show they did, but
They
so
might,
far not.
But we
good.
weren't sure if they were like getting there and they,
Right.
Had talked or whatever. Doesn't appear like they're friendly. Also, a very common theme amongst the men is wanting to be there for Kylie.
Yes.
Kylie is the idol of the season.
She is absolutely the every guy goes, Kylie. You could do like a super
Every
cut
single
of every
guy
guy being like, Kylie
was there for Kylie. And I do have to say that when we went over our little Bachelor in Paradise recap cast bio thing, I said, Kylie is going to be popular on the sand. I felt this in my body. I just knew. And all these guys are so interested in Kylie. And, we love to see it because we know already competition is starting from the get.
Yes.
But Kylie seems to only be interested in one individual. And in her promo, the whole thing was about Avon, which shout out. If Avon and Kylie end up together, gorge, obsessed.
Those kids cannot be better looking.
No.
Like seriously,
No, I know.
It's just
like two of the most beautiful people you've ever seen in your life.
You can't be better looking than those two people. They're just the pinnacle of good looking people. Like it's crazy how good looking they are.
I know.
So it's like she's like, it's crazy. I'm a 10. He's a 10. We should be together. It's like, yeah, duh. She's like, all the guys are like, you know who I really like? That girl who's a 10. And she's like, you know who I really like? That other guy who's a 10. And it's like, talk about the least surprising thing ever.
I know, even though everyone on the beach is 10s, let's be honest.
Of course.
But no, I was though cracking up when she was going through her whole okay, so Avon liked my promo picture.
Yeah.
And so then I posted another hot picture hoping that he would like it. He then kept liking, and they're going through all the ones, and
one
he's
of them
like,
got like a fire
she's like,
emoji.
and then he sent a fire emoji, and I'm like, Kylie, I love your technique.
Yeah.
This is a technique, it's Aunt Katie energy. It's like, okay, I am posting this hot photo for one person in particular. I am posting this hot Insta story, and I'm checking to see who has seen that Insta story and has Avon seen it, and is he reacting to it? But also making it clear that they have not been chatting before.
Right.
I felt like that was definitely like a moment on the show where they were trying to like let all of us know, hey, this wasn't a couple beforehand, or they hadn't been like, going on dates or whatever. It's like, okay, no, Kylie has just been, hoping that he likes a photo of hers.
Something very impressive to me about Kylie.
Yeah.
I feel like what happens generally when someone is kind of the talk of the town / the desire of all people, there's a villainesque vibe that goes with that, because they're kind of playing multiple people, and they're burning people and hurting people, and they usually become kind of villainesque. She's the opposite of that. Her energy is actually like very sweet, very concerned.
Well, she was really
chill.
worried about then ruffling feathers with Olivia and Will.
Her energy could not be more non-villain. So I thought that was very sweet and very added to the allure of like, oh wow, she not only is she, stunning and all the guys like her, but she's also like really sweet.
I know.
So that'll definitely like.
She seems lovely. And again, if we remember her in Zach's season, like she was really fun too.
Yeah.
She was like having a great time during the bad bitch energy date. She's fun.
Yes.
So Kylie is.
She's going to be a hot commodity.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Big
yeah.
time.
So we see you, Kylie. Another moment that I would like to note is Kat in these promos. By the way, when Brooklyn was...
K-Cat or C-Cat?
I think they're both K-Cat.
I think...
Oh, no, C-Cat.
Cat.
No, not rare kitty cat. K-Cat.
Got it.
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. When Brooklyn was saying that like, oh, she's going to be complaining about everything, and then they went to her promo and she's like, oh God, the sun's in my eyes. She's just like, then the whole thing is her talking about how much she hates sand and how much she hates like sea creatures and crabs. The cutting of that was excellent.
She has to be with someone that finds complaining endearing.
Yes, like oh, she's being funny.
Yeah, because some people like she's got that like I hate everything energy.
Yes,
and like that either can be a drag on someone or could be charming and kind of like I'm gonna figure out a way to make her like something as like, you know what I mean? Certain people like the kind of like I gotta go after the win.
Yes,
she's hard to please. She's very like hard to please energy.
For sure. Now, you know, I've never been a huge Kat fan, you know, as we know. But I did feel like throughout this episode, a lot of the complaining was, I think it's real, but I also think it's accentuated for comedy. I think she's also trying to kind of have it be her shtick a little bit too.
I feel like people who are like her, she leans into the complaining.
Yes.
Like the complaining is her trying to be funny.
Yes.
And so I think that, yes, does she think that all these things are annoying? Sure. But does she turn it up 3 or 4 points? Yes.
For sure. Now, I will tell you this. When she started talking about everything that she can't stand and then watching her on the beach throughout this episode, I'm like, this woman is living her actual hell. Like,
yeah. So what kind of vacations does she like, I wonder?
I don't know, like just a glass box.
Yeah, because I see her going, okay, I hate tropical because it's like there's possible
sand
animals and sand.
Bugs.
I don't know who, yeah, so she doesn't like any sort of tropical vacation.
Yeah.
But then I could also see her being like going to Italy in like the cities and being like, I hate people everywhere. Yeah. So I'm like, what is her dream vacation?
What do you like?
I want to know.
You know what? You got to know that Kat loves a hotel room.
Kat loves...
She loves a hotel room.
Clean hotels.
She loves a Four Seasons.
Yes. I mean, who doesn't? But yeah. Yes. She loves high-end stuff. Seasons. You know what? Let's be real. You know, has champagne taste. There's no question about it.
She absolutely has champagne taste. That's for sure. But no, I mean, I've seen clips of her, though, doing a lot of hiking. So she does like outdoorsy things.
There's dirt there.
There's dirt there and there's bugs when you're hiking. So I don't know, but I just was watching this. I was like, this is literally, this woman it's her hell. And I know I've said before throughout the years that I really wish that they would have some sort of Bachelor, you know, at like Halloween Horror Nights, that like one of the rooms, one of the mazes would be Bachelor themed or like reality TV themed, where like you walked into the mouth of Jesse Palmer and then inside, you know, you had to do like
the mouth. His head's huge. I love that.
The mouth
idea.
of Jesse Palmer, and then, you know, once you get through, you have to like do an ITM and they keep
like
you there.
You walk up his tongue.
Yeah, they keep you in an ITM, like in a hot ITM room for like 7 hours, and they bring up your exes and you're like, I don't want to talk about that. That they have a full horror maze. I was like, Kat is living her Halloween horror Bachelor in Paradise maze, because these are all the things that she is like terrified by. And every 5 seconds in the background on the beach throughout this episode, you heard Kat screaming because something landed on her or she felt sand in between her toes and she's like traumatized.
But it's the attention versus the scenario. That's what we're dealing with.
Sure. But okay, so let's get to the actual beach. Obviously, there were more promos than that, but those were a few that I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
So, first to the sand. Evan,
shocking.
I was shocked. First on the sand was Rachel.
She hated that.
Bachelorette Rachel.
She was not happy.
When JP was like, I got a surprise for you.
You're the first one. She was like, she could not. One thing I like about Rachel, she's incapable of hiding the way she feels.
No, she puts it all right out there. I love it.
Immediately was just like annoyed.
No, she was like, what? And let me tell you something. If I was the Bachelorette,
like, I'm royalty.
If I was a lead and I found out that I had to be there first, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, you all better be rolling out the red carpet for me. Like, what I'm expecting is there's a packed beach, and then Jesse Palmer has already told everybody that that's it, and then I show up as a grand surprise for everyone.
Want the like, oh my god,
yeah, but to have Rachel.
Nothing, and you always have to be the one going, oh my god. You feel like chopped liver.
I would have been so like, why didn't I put that in my contract? Because I just would have been so frustrated. Like, And you saw it too when everyone was coming down and she's kind of like, hey, I'm like, I wanted Rachel to have her moment where she got to walk onto the beach and everyone like freaked out. Kind of like how they had with Blake, where everyone was like, oh my God, Blake is here, you know?
It's because the show knows. And I love Rachel. Love you, Rachel. They knew if we had her go out first, it'll put her on edge. Let's be real. They knew what they were doing with that.
Yeah. 100%.
They could have put out half of the other people before her.
Very true. Very true. So after Rachel, everybody starts filing in. We got Aaron B. We have Brooklyn, which is interesting because Brooklyn says that she's like, I have insight on Aaron B because her and Charity are like best friends. So she right away was like, I know about Aaron B.
Yeah, she was like, oh yeah, Charity's my best friend. And Aaron goes, interesting.
And Aaron looked sad right away, by the way, which I had talked about in our previous BIP cast bio. I was like, I feel like Aaron really was in love with Charity, and I feel like we'll feel that a little bit this season. I really do.
Yeah.
Kitty Cat shows up. She is trying. I mean, this woman is like here to sell merch, I believe. And I say that in like the most positive way possible because she has her signature moves. JP's having her do, you know, all of her like different faces. We need Kitty Cat merch. And then Sean arrives. But of course he's wearing his cashmere sweater.
I mean, even they pointed out, like, why are you wearing a sweater? And he's like, I'll take this off real quick.
Well, and he's like, it's my thing.
He spends way too much time, like, making this a strategy.
I think so, too.
It reeks.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about how he interacted with Jess.
Okay.
He made the whole interaction about the fact that, like, it was just too planned. Everything he does is too planned because he's like, oh, what's up, Jess? I know you're a Swiftie, so I knew that was going to be a line I could use with her. I knew that, like, I could talk to her about this and this and this and say this, and that I'm a Swiftie too, and that you'll like me because of that. Like, and then he even said, oh, Jess has body glitter and she wears a lot of body. And Aaron's like, what? And he
Aaron's
knows, like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, I know that she likes body glitter, so I'll make a glitter line.
Sean spends a lot of time on Instagram doing a lot of deep diving.
Deep dives. He watches every episode to like really know how to strategically like connect.
He did pretty much know everyone who came down. Like with some of the people who were like, who's that? Like Sean
that was
knew.
From episode 6.
And he knew what season.
So he's a little too calculated. And I think because of that, he comes across as a little disingenuous.
Understood. Yeah.
Because it just feels very like he's like spent way too much time calculating this.
Understood. Yes. Well, Rachel's vibing right away. And when I tell you I am shook, I am shook.
It's so weird.
I did not see Rachel being interested in Sean coming from a mile away.
No.
Mile away. And I'm sorry, Sean, but Rachel, I'm like, no, Rachel, please somebody else. Well, then Will shows up, and a lot of the people, they don't know who Will is, but Will is here to have his moment because Pizza Pete took his moments from him before, so now Will is coming out and gonna have his moment. And Will was also hot stuff on the sand right off the top.
He was the Kylie all of a sudden. He was just like, he had options, and the two hot commodity ladies were like swooning over him. And I was like, Will, the least recognizable face next to Sam.
Yes.
All of a sudden is the guy.
The guy.
And I was like...
And you know Braden knew... Braden
was freaking out.
Like, you know, in his heart, Braden was like, oh, God, no. Like, Braden knew in his heart that he was going to come down and every woman would go for him. And in fact, he was on a lot of the women's lists. But Will came out, and I think he has just such great energy, too. And obviously, he's a cute guy. But, like, he has such great energy that everyone kind of was drawn to Will right away.
Blown away. Braden was, I think, taken aback by how little he was pursued. Hence, when he made the comment later, I just want to be liked for who I am, when he was talking to Wells, and then Wells encouraged him to go meet with someone, and then he made the move to Kat. I was like, we're seeing Braden for the first time on his back heels a little bit. 100%. He gets down to the beach and no one's talking to him.
Which is shock. I thought everyone...
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that these people are actually here for more of a real reason than he even thought. He thought, oh, I'm kind of a hot commodity. I'm probably one of the most talked about people in Bachelor Nation right now. I'm going to walk down. People are going to lose their minds. He walks down and ends up kind of sitting there.
I know.
Oh, Kylie just goes and talks to Will. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know, he's got multiple women he probably thought were going to love him and then didn't even talk to him or barely even talk to him.
I know.
And he's in his head.
I know.
And he's talking about being wanted. I'm like, being wanted? You were like, I thought you know, so it was an interesting
It was. Well, Kylie comes down. She lets JP know that she wants Avon, right? Right off the top, she's like, I'm here for Avon. And bless her, they did not deliver Avon on the first night. For first sand, they make her wait for a second. And she's saying she's already down for a proposal. She's like, if he'd propose, I'd probably say yes. Like, she is all Avon, and I do not blame her, obviously, from what we've seen of Avon. Though. What do you mean?
Well, like...
for Avon?
For anything. For both. Like, it's a lot of pressure. If you look at someone online for long enough, and you put them in a pedestal in your mind, it's almost impossible to live up to that. Like,
but imagine
I'm saying looks aside.
But imagine if it ends up being better.
Sure, I'm just saying, like,
your brain explodes.
When Avon comes down, like, it actually could be like Will was a surprise. Therefore, it goes from 0 to 100 because you're like, I didn't even know who you were. Now all of a sudden I'm blown away by how great you are. With Avon, he's already at a 10. What can he do that could possibly exceed her idolizing him? Yeah. So there is a little bit of, it'll be interesting to see because we know he comes down at the end.
Yeah, to see what their chemistry is like in person. To see if it's good enough, because
it could be like, oh, I like him, but actually Will has been blowing him out of the water.
Like maybe they don't have great chemistry in person.
Exactly. You have no idea if you even like his personality. So in some ways that could work against or for Will.
Very true. I didn't really think about that. That's very true. Well, she walks down. Aaron's obsessed. Yeah. Okay. Will is obsessed. Aaron already is like pitching being her San Diego realtor. I mean, and then Will's pulling her aside and they have a great conversation. As soon as Brayden comes down and, puts his scarf around JP, he goes straight to Kylie, doesn't talk to the guys. The guys are tripping. Now Aaron is already like, oh no. He does like the pass by where he's like, how's paradise? And it's just so awkward because
it was brutal too. This is where I was a little bit like Aaron. He's like, how dare he pull her? He's like, Brayden.
Well, he was doing the whole like he didn't talk to us first, which I get. But
like, what did he expect to talk to you? You guys hate him.
That's true.
Like, you think he's gonna come over and be like, boys, how you been? I know you absolutely fucking hate me. Let's hang. It's like, no.
It's very true. It's very true.
It was a little bit like, boys, let's not be like, for him and Sean to be so obsessed with him coming down.
I know.
It's such a bad move. It puts you immediately in the, like, you're not here to talk to people. You're here to, like, be in your head about someone else.
And we, by the way, we knew that Aaron was going to be the love bug because he right away was like, I'm so into Kylie. And then he started talking to Eliza once Eliza came down and he was like, I'm actually vibing with Eliza. And then we catch him later making out with Mercedes, but then we see a preview with him with Eliza.
He's just
so
like,
Aaron's the love bug. He wants to find love. He
just falls in love in 10 seconds.
He falls in love in 10 seconds, and God bless him. I really hope that he finds love on the beach.
I agree.
Because he seems like a really great guy who just wants to find his wife. Okay, but when Brayden pulled Kylie, I thought there was a very interesting moment where he's talking about like, the guys probably are tripping out that he's there, da-da-da-da-da. And she right away goes, well, I don't really like drama. And I felt like in that moment, Kylie was like, I'm not into you, Brayden. Okay. I felt immediately that she was like, no Brayden for me. The second he came down and she could tell there was tension, and then he brought up the tension, which I don't think that was a fault of his. No. But I think she literally just was like, I don't want to start off in this messy situation. I'm not interested. Which, by the way, is a true sign of someone who really doesn't like the drama.
She's very chill.
She's the true sign of someone who doesn't like the drama. It's like, I can smell drama on you from a mile away, and so you're not going to be on, you're not a potential for me.
And I don't get caught up in the, like, allure of someone who's had a lot of screen time or like...
So then Eliza comes down, Greer, Mercedes. Mercedes. Evan and I, the second Mercedes promo showed up, Evan and I were both like, Mercedes is
like ridiculous,
so stunning.
It's like, how are you a pig farmer? It really doesn't. Or
she does sense. She shows pigs at like the county fair.
She's a pig farmer. It's got to be fake. There's no way that woman is just like working with pigs in middle America. Like, no, like all the farm guys are just like, have you seen that lady who has pigs at that other farm? Like, it's like a movie. She's like, oh, I'm in between being a supermodel in Paris or pig farming. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of working. I haven't decided on what I want to do yet.
I remember during her season, you just would every once in a while be like, oh my God, remember how she was like showing pigs? You're like, how?
Like, it just doesn't make sense.
One of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life.
That's what I'm saying. She's so out of control good looking. And then you're just
It's
like,
absurd.
like she's just bringing her like, you know, pigs down to the local like area to show them. And like all these people are at the fair going like, what is this? Is this like a reality TV show? Like, am I missing something? It's crazy.
Oh, she's so stunning. And then Aaron S. shows up, but of course, you know, I feel like Aaron is
just there to show off his gains. Like, he's the type of guy that, because he even made mention later on in the episode, and this killed me. It was like, I don't know, a cut of something, and he was talking to someone about like, what do you guys want? What do girls actually want? And it killed me because he's going like this. He's going, I've spent so much time in the gym. I'm absolutely massive, and still I can't figure this girl thing out. Like, he's going, I thought that's what they wanted. I read on alphamale.com that they wanted muscles, and I got the muscles, and it's still not happening. Like, he's talking to the girls, like pleading with them, like, what do you fucking want from me? Like, he's like literally going, I've done everything. I wake up at 6, I take ice baths, I do all the things that the internet tells me women want, and then they still don't want it. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, that is him in just an absolute nutshell.
Aaron S. had the most disgusting line of the episode. I looked at you and I was like, ew, dude. Like, what does that mean? He goes, when the sun came out, the next day dawned, and he goes, wakey, wakey, grab your snakey.
Yeah, like that is.
And I'm like, that's disgusting.
Like, that's some shit you say, you know, if you're just in like a frat house at 22. Like, that's what I'm saying. He still is just wondering.
I've never heard that in my life.
No one's ever heard of that.
Wakey,
it's because he made it up and he thought it was hilarious. And he doesn't understand why that absolutely repulses women. It's because he's there for the boys. Let's be real.
Oh, he's so there for the boys. That dude is a
boys' first guy. He's a guy that loves beers with the boys more than anything.
He's so there for the boys.
He's like, he's unbelievable.
Oh my God, I'm crying. Next is Peter. Okay, which by the way, nothing happened.
This is the FP Peter, by the way.
This is the FP Peter. No, didn't seem like any awkward interaction. When he was talking to the guys, none of them seemed angry at him. So I'm wondering if something does explode on the beach, because you'd think that you would have seen, at least in the first episode when he came down, that everybody would have been like, oh God, here he is. And we didn't get any of that. So something must happen. Something's got to happen that brings all of this up.
Yeah.
Then Kat comes down. We feel that tension with Brooklyn for a second. We don't really see them interact, so we'll see what goes down with that. And then Sam shows up. Jesse literally says, "Who are you?" I believe.
Yeah, he literally is like, "I'm so sorry, I don't know who you are."
And Sam, you know, again, we talked about it on our Bachelor in Paradise cast breakdown episode, but Sam is from Clayton's season, and she was, I believe, the night one because she left on her own accord the first night, and she's definitely SD crew. So I'm wondering if, you know, she knows maybe the Aarons, the Bradens, maybe they already have, maybe there's something already kind of going on there. Who knows? We'll see if that's a whole thing. And then Olivia shows up. Olivia was Zach's season, I believe, left night one. We were obsessed with her in the cast bios, and I gotta tell you, Olivia came out, and we'll get into it in a few minutes here about then the love triangle with Olivia, Will, and Kylie. But I love Olivia.
Love her.
I think Olivia is fantastic. Fantastic reality TV energy.
When you're talking sucking toes within 3 minutes, you're a fun person.
You're diving straight. I mean, she came right out. And let's also make something clear here. So Sam, we saw Sam come out, and Sam was like, I'm feeling kind of the nervous rash, and I'm coming down. Because you got to think about this. Sam left night one, so you're not, you didn't have the experience of being in the environment of the Bachelor, Bachelorette for 2 months straight. When you just had one night, you don't have like a Rachel, for instance, was on the show on Bachelor and then was the Bachelorette. Like, you're very, very much more comfortable.
It's still very new.
So Sam was like, I got the nervous rash. Olivia also was a night one. And the way Olivia came down and was so comfortable immediately, just came down. zipped up to Will, hopped on the daybed, was making all the jokes about sucking the toes,
Olivia was
washing
day
off.
one too?
Yes.
Whoa.
Like, that's what I'm
For some
saying.
reason, I thought she was way more.
Olivia is reality TV gold.
Okay.
She is reality TV gold. Okay.
She's amazing. I love her.
And so she comes down and Will immediately is smelling her. Okay.
Yeah.
He is sniffing the air as she walks by.
I wanna eat you.
She was on his list of people he was interested in. And he's already talked to Kylie. So he starts sniffing around. And him and Olivia, you know, they go to that daybed. Like you said, there's the toe sucking conversation happens, of which was brought up extremely playfully. It
fun.
felt like a mutual bringing up of the toe sucking.
Because he brought up the toes. So
He
it
brought up
was,
the toes.
That's the thing that I feel like is lost in this whole drama with Will and Olivia and Kylie, is that, like, you know, it was very mutual. Like, the whole thing was very mutual. The whole thing was very mutual. But as much as it was mutual, a lot of it was led by him. So he brought up the toes. She joked about the toe sucking.
Yeah, she didn't just like shove her feet in his mouth.
He kissed her.
Yes.
Asked to and actually I rewatched because I was like, I want to know what the deal is again. I didn't really catch it. He asked to kiss her. Mm-hmm. She said, like, not no, but like maybe later. Then he went in for the kiss and she loved it. But it was like, it wasn't like she was like, it was kind of portrayed later that she was forcing this all on
this
him
whole
kind
toe
of vibe.
Conversation.
Whereas like he said, wow, I like your toes. They look really nice. And then she said, you want to suck them? Being funny.
Right.
And then he brought up the kiss and then she's like, no, maybe later. And then he kissed her and then she loved it. So it was very like him kind of led towards those things. She went with him and took him maybe to a different level. But even still, like, he was the leader in those advances, talking about those things in those things. So later on, you know, it's like,
it's something of note.
I just think it's important in the whole conversation, you know. So I do feel like as we get into this, it's kind of like, you know, I don't know, rewatching it, I have a new outlook on it for sure.
Sure. And I just felt like watching their daybed conversation, I felt like he brought up the toes. She then made a whole funny thing about it with the toe sucking, which ended up becoming like the theme of the episode. And everyone was talking about toe sucking to the point then where all of us were like, okay, we're done with the toe sucking. Like, is this sponsored by like WikiFeet, which shout out, they should sponsor the show. My God, great promo for WikiFeet. Yeah. But it was super playful, and then he was laughing about it, and it was like, well, maybe, and if your toes weren't dirty. The whole thing was very mutual, playful. It felt very fun, and I thought that their vibe, you and I looked at each other, and we were like, oh,
like, whoa.
They're like day one, like walking away from the daybed holding hands.
Yes.
Like, I was like, oh, they're like first couple on the beach. That's kind of the energy that I was getting. Okay, we'll get into that more in a moment. But then Jess came down, and I called this in our episode previously. Sean immediately pounced.
Yes.
I knew he was going to. And then after Jess, Blake is here. Blake is here.
All the girls lost their mind. They were like, holy shit, he's hot.
And I love this for Blake so much because Blake always gets this narrative of, oh my God, Blake's back. Blake's been on the show so many times. I'm like, first of all,
why is that a bad narrative?
First of all, why is that a bad thing? Also, there's tons of people who have done the show multiple times. So why does Blake get this narrative?
Also, you should only get the narrative if you suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're like unpleasant, he's very pleasant. So therefore, why should that be a narrative that he's around too much? It's like,
what's the deal with that? And
he's got a great vibe.
So I was alive and living for the fact that Blake came down and had the moment where all the girls were like absolutely crushing on him and like talking about his thighs and all the women
like, check out the stems on that king.
Yeah.
And they were like, whoa.
And they were all just like, he's so gorgeous. It made me so happy because
he seems like a very, he's a very likable person. His job is likable as hell.
He's all of his energy, everything with his conservation, everything online is so incredible. If you don't follow Blake, you got to follow Blake. I've preached this for years. I'm like, you got to follow Blake on Instagram because
he's like a mini Steve Irwin. That guy's dope.
He's incredible. Yeah. Like he really is. Which then ultimately, I know I'm jumping ahead, but Blake and Jess end up connecting and are making out, which I was shocked by.
Yeah.
I did not see this coming from a mile away, is the Jess and Blake connection. I was like, I don't know, in my head, I was thinking maybe Blake and Mercedes. That was kind of what I had in my head. So the Jess one surprised me. I guess
it doesn't shock me that much.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. It just really surprised me. Okay. I don't know what to say.
It's kind of two sweetie pies.
True.
They're both very sweet.
So everyone is officially here, and we find out then that the men are going to be handing out the roses. Now, after this happens, everyone's kind of chatting. The men are chatting together. The women are chatting together. Kylie now is having to come to the conclusion that Avon is not here.
Yeah.
And that also means that Avon might never show up. Obviously, we end up finding out later that he does come down.
Which is brutal because it's right after the date.
Oh my God,
so
the
it's not
timing
like,
of it all.
2 weeks in where like they really developed. It's like they just connected and then her dream guy is coming down. Worst case scenario for Will because he just burned the bridge with Olivia too. So it's like, oh my God.
Brutal. But she then is kind of having to be like, okay, I guess I'm probably might not meet Avon now. And it's the men's turn to give away the rose. So like, I got to try to kind of make a connection here with somebody. And she brings up that she did like Will. And she ends up giving Will kind of like a hard time. Like, you got to make it up to me. Will's at this point starting to panic. He's like, oh no, I kissed Olivia. And now I don't know if I want to be with Olivia. I also want to get to know Kylie. And Will is experiencing Bachelor in Paradise, essentially.
He really messed up with the kiss.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have kissed her. It would have just been fun, flirty conversation about toes.
Yes.
And it would have been fun. But you could have totally played it off as just like, we're having fun. I'm having fun with everybody. The kiss was like that was the missile.
Yeah, it cinched everything. Well, we have Peter, by the way, who in this conversation makes a comment. And he's kind of like, I would be like all after.
Like, that'd be sexy, dude.
He's like, I think that's hot. He's like, I'd be all after Olivia after the whole toe situation. So I'm wondering if then there's a Peter
later,
pursuit.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
The date card, though, but of course, the producers are out here because the date card is given to Kylie. And Kylie is like, I really don't want to upset anybody. She's being thoughtful, which I loved to hear. She was like, okay, I know that like Olivia was talking about that she had a kiss with Will. Here's the bottom line. Watching this episode, my Libra was showing, okay? My Libra is showing, and I feel like people are going to be mad with my take. But you know what? I don't care.
Okay.
Remember? Escape rooms alone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care. You can't hurt me.
You can't hurt me when I've already hurt myself too much.
You can't hurt me. You can be mad with my take. I don't care. My take, probably an unpopular opinion, I get everyone's perspective in this.
Yeah.
Which is my Libra.
Yeah.
But I get everyone's perspective.
Yeah.
I understand Kylie's side. Mm-hmm. I understand Will's side. And I understand Olivia's side. And I feel like this drama was actually really mild. And there wasn't anything that was like, no one did anything terribly wrong. And I get everyone's perspective. Sorry, I do. I get Kylie's perspective where it's like, hey, I am really interested in getting to know Avon, but he's not here now. So I have a connection with Will, and the men are giving the roses away. And he's the person I connected with the most. And so I'm going to take him on a date. But, you know, I don't want to hurt Olivia, but also it's been less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
I get Will's perspective being like, it's only the first day and I want to get to know a bunch of people. And it was just the first day. Like, it was just a kiss. Like, this is how paradise works, right? I'm going to get to know Kylie. And then I get Olivia's perspective being like, I came down here and this guy immediately kissed me, took my hand. We kind of walked into the sunset together. And now he's not even going to have a conversation with me before he leaves. Sure, it's the first day, but can you not just like talk to me? My feelings would be really hurt because my hopes would have been up, and I saw people being like, oh my gosh, she's acting like they've been together for forever. And I'm like, number one, I think Olivia is like just so entertaining. So she's giving it to us in these ITMs. She's making this sand fun.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah.
But I get why she was frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I would have my feelings hurt too, because I would kind of be like, you'd hear Jesse Palmer say, guys have the rose. And I'd be like, whew, I'm the only one locked in here right now. Will and I had a great time.
Yeah.
So sorry, I get everybody's perspective. So.
Here's what I think. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I have a little bit more of a pointed opinion on it.
Okay.
I think that Kylie is blameless. I don't think Kylie owed anyone an explanation, if I'm
Yes.
just being super honest with you.
For sure.
I personally think that, like, sure, could she have gone over to Olivia and said, I heard you kissed him, is this okay?
Sure.
That would have been like the most, student of the year thing to do. Sure. But I don't think it's,
No.
So that I think Kylie was so sweet that she was like concerned and scared and didn't want to hurt anybody, blah, blah, blah. Olivia, I think what happened with Olivia was that she was shocked by the connection. I think she was like, holy shit, I did not expect to connect with someone this quickly.
Yeah.
And I think she immediately was like blown away by how much she
was surprised.
felt.
Yeah.
And the fact that he made this big initiation to kiss her made her feel this is mutual.
Yes.
5 minutes later, he immediately walks away from her and goes on a date and is super excited. I think his point of view is correct if he wouldn't have kissed her. If he wouldn't have kissed her, he could have played off on the whole, like, we had a flirty day, we talked about toes, and now this girl that I actually have been thinking about for a long time asked me out. The issue is that he took the initiation to kiss her. And it was very, like, intense and kind of romantic. And so I feel like he set her up to be heartbroken, because it was like, we had this crazy connection, you were super flirty with me, you ended up making out with me, and then 10 minutes later, you're, like, super excited to go on this date. And again, if he just would have walked over to Olivia and said, by the way, I had a great time with you today. Like, you're awesome. But obviously it's day one and we're really trying to just explore all our connections. So I'm going to go on this date and just kind of see if it's something that it's really important to me. But I really did have a good time with you today.
Yeah.
It probably would have sufficed about 80% of the issue that Olivia had. But the fact that he didn't even look at her after 10 seconds ago,
Facts. True.
I would have tweaked as well.
Yeah.
If I met a girl who I thought was absolutely gorgeous, we're flirting like crazy, and then she makes out with me, I'm thinking we got something pretty special here.
Yeah.
If we're not making out after we both gotten broken up with, or it's day 7.
Right.
Day 1, within 20 minutes, you're making out.
High.
The chemistry's banging. And you're probably like, wow, I haven't had this in a long time. This is pretty rare. Boom. And then the fact that 2 seconds later, if she would have just ditched me and then gone on this date and not even looked at me, I would have felt tweaked.
Yeah.
So my initial reaction was Olivia's too sensitive.
Yeah.
The more I sat with it, the more I go, oh, I'd feel the same way. And then when he came, I also understand from his perspective a little bit where it's like, hey, it's day 1. Like, I just was having fun with you. But he could have played it so much better by preemptively saying, hey, like, I really like you a lot, but we're here for the fun.
That's the thing. I really like Will a lot. I think he seems like a great guy. And I think
no one was like mean here.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I think I feel that from you too, like where he got a little bit caught up in like these 2 stunning women are interested in me. A little bit caught up in it.
And I think he put Kylie on a pedestal. So when all of a sudden she picks him, it was like, whoa.
Right. The moment that I didn't love was when Will then did pull Olivia, and Olivia was clearly not stoked. And then he obviously started.
Fine. Fine. How are you? Fine.
I'm fine. And he started to kind of spiral because she wasn't reacting the way that he wanted to. And the lesson in that being like, hey, you can't put expectations of how someone's going to react. If you want to come to apologize, you have to know that someone might have a boundary up where they're not ready to talk to you yet. You initiated it with her. You said you wanted to talk to her. She didn't pull you to talk. Yeah. You pulled her to talk, and she's not stoked. So if you really genuinely want to apologize, you got to know that she might not get a reaction you don't like. She might not be thrilled about the situation. But then he started to then do the whole kind of like, well, Kylie and I had this really serious, great moment together. And like, you were just like kind of, and then he made it almost project on her like she was pushing something that he didn't like, the toe sucking, which was just so not the case.
It was panic moves. It
felt like he was panicking.
He was, instead of just being like, you know what, I should have talked to you before. I'm sorry. And I really like you a lot, but I also like her a lot. I'm going to see what happens.
I felt like he was digging the grave deeper in that conversation by like, almost
well, you were kind of forcing the toes on me.
Right,
and,
which was so not true.
We really didn't talk about that much anything deep, to be honest with you. And you know that, right? Like he was trying to,
he was trying to diminish the connection that they had. And so I didn't think that was a great move. But again, here's my thing. I love all 3 of them.
Me too.
And so what I'm really hoping is that whatever drama goes down, that it doesn't make them not like each other, because these are 3 of like my favorite people.
Agreed.
So I'm a little bit like, oh God, I hope that this doesn't end up causing some sort of riff. The vibe that I'm getting, and I just have a guess, I think this day one drama is going to wash away real quick.
Yeah.
I think one of them is going to wind up with Avon and the other one is going to wind up with someone else. And unfortunately for Will, I think Will will get sent home when it's the women's week.
I think it's the classic, like, if he doesn't beat Avon, it's over.
Because I think if Avon gives his rose to either Olivia or Kylie, another guy is going to give Kylie or Olivia a rose. And then the next week, I feel like Will might be kind of...
It's always dangerous to go after the top dogs. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to go after Kylie, you got to be careful because you could throw all the eggs in the basket. But if every single guy is going for Kylie, you got to know that every guy coming down on that beach is a possible threat and could get you eliminated. And if you haven't put any time into any other ladies,
relationship,
you're going to end, or you burned someone like Olivia. Now, although other women are going to be like, ooh, I don't know if I fuck with Will. You got,
because I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you personally. So when when Kylie and Will had their date and they were talking after he fell in the fountain.
Oh my God, brutal. But also heartwarming. You know what I mean? Like, I do like that. Those moments are funny because it does break the ice and make you kind of like feel open.
That was actually wild.
It was like a full body too.
He came out, Evan, and he was soaked top to bottom.
It's not like you stepped in water. It's like you're up to his face was dripping.
The man was absolutely drenched. Like his whole head, his whole body, he was soaked. There was no coming back. And I did love his reaction. He was like
someone take me away.
He's like, I'm so embarrassed. I think he's sweet. I like
him a lot. I do. I like all three of them, like you said.
Yeah, I love them all. But their date, I felt like there was chemistry.
Yes. In
like the sense that they're both attracted to each other. But I'll be real with you.
Nothing compared to Olivia.
I felt like Olivia and Will had way better chemistry.
Not even close.
I feel like there's a chance when Will might have just burned that bridge, but I feel like Kylie and Avon, I can see it. Olivia and Will, I can see it. Maybe
I think Will has probably been stalking her on Instagram.
Sure.
But a little bit of an Avon vibe.
Yes.
Where it's like he put her on a pedestal to where he just goes, oh my God, she actually likes me.
Yeah.
That's actually what's happening more than like the Olivia connection was 10 times more powerful. It seemed over camera versus chemistry. It didn't seem like electric. It seemed like nice.
No, it seemed good, but it wasn't to me anything like the electricity of the other two.
Dangerously not powerful enough to get saboteured by someone else coming in.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
So then we have Olivia talking in the rooms because her heart hurts. She's frustrated. She's like, Avon.
I'm gonna get Avon.
She goes, she's like, Will, he's just a rose holder for right now.
Because she knows. She's like,
she
Kylie
knows that
just,
Kylie, and again, I don't fault Kylie for that at all.
No.
Like Avon's not there. She's getting to know other people. That's what the beach is about. You got to know. You got to get to know all the people.
But Olivia knows.
But Olivia knows that if Avon comes down,
it's over.
It's over.
And he's coming down.
And the fact that then they left us on that cliffhanger with Avon walking down, and Olivia's going like, I'm gonna try to go on a date with Avon.
Perfect.
Incredible television.
I'm excited.
Incredible television. And yes, is Olivia, kind of doing the thing where she's like, I'm going to get to know Avon.
I love that too.
Because you know what? It's fantastic TV. But also, I have to say, I have to have a moment here. Olivia mentioned too that Avon had been on her list too.
Yes, of course.
So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of chatter next week about people being like, she's only going after Avon to hurt Kylie, blah, blah, blah. I would imagine, I think there's hurt there for sure. I'm not discounting that. But she said Avon was on her list too.
Yes.
So both of them had Avon on their list. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's a lot of ladies who, when Avon comes down, are going to be like...
you.
including me, who will be like, Ashante, nice to meet you.
Exactly.
So it'll be wild. We'll see how some of these other relationships start to kind of, suss out. We see... Aaron with Mercedes at the end here, even though he had been talking to Eliza, Jess and Blake, Sean and Rachel, they ended up making out. I was blown away.
I think it's going to be a fun season.
Brayden and Kat, that conversation was bananas to me. I couldn't, that conversation was him being just like, yeah, I don't even like.
This was their conversation. That was the whole conversation. They never said anything except just like make noises to each other, and then they made out.
And
they're kind of meant for each other, I'll be honest with you. I kind of love them together.
I know, I kind of do too. But like, yeah, he's just like, I don't even like know how to flirt. And he's just like whipping his hair back and leaning out. And she's like, you're so funny. And I'm just like,
God. I'm like, this is so crazy.
She's just like, and I loved the zinger she kind of threw at him when she's like, you know what's crazy is like, I know everyone like hates your earrings. I love them. And he's like, oh.
He's like, they do? I know everyone thinks you're horrible, but I kind of like horrible guys. He's like, what? That was, yeah, no, she's kind of a zinger, dude. She'd like come over to our house and be like, you know what? I've always loved little houses. And just like something cozy about little houses. I don't like big houses that are like expansive and gorgeous. I like little houses because it's just kind of cozy, like a, I don't know, like a fort. And he'd be like,
and you know what's funny is then she's like, I like Brayden. He's got like golden retriever energy.
Like that's a little jab.
I mean, I don't take it as a jab because I say that about
he would definitely take it as a jab.
Well, no, but this is what I'm saying.
What?
I say that about people that I find to be lovely. Like they've got golden retriever energy. But here's my thing. I think with Kat, Brayden will have golden retriever energy.
He already showed it. He's literally like crawling up to her, being like, kisses.
She is going to be holding that guy like a carrot in front of him, and he will do anything.
Agreed.
But also at the same time, we saw clips at some point of him on a date with Rachel.
Yeah.
So who knows? I'm getting the vibe that she's got the carrot in front of him, but I don't know.
We'll see.
I'm
excited.
I cannot wait.
A good season. Both seasons, very excited.
So excited. And make sure to also join us on Wednesday because we will be coming out with a recap of the most recent episodes of Love is Blind. I am so excited.
Let's go.
And family, please. Family, don't be mad at us. Please don't be mad at us. Family, I'm just looking at the time and we have to get our kiddo from her auntie, the babysitter, for right now.
We will do a call home.
I know. I said I keep saying we're going to do more call homes and then we end up bailing and I feel horrible.
There's so much to cover.
We're letting down the family.
We'll do it next time, I promise.
I promise we're going to do it next episode. Please, please don't unsubscribe. Please, please love us.
Love you all.
We love you so much, family. Thanks for hanging in with us with all these,
it's gonna be fun.
with all these recaps. I'm so excited. I'm loving Love is Blind. I'm loving The Golden Bachelor. I'm loving VIP. Ooh. Like I feel like I haven't been this stoked and satisfied in a hot minute.
Love ya.
All right. Love you guys. Bye.